Hello, I am the Chris who plays games. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Welcome to the stream. Today we're going to be playing some Super Mario Bros. 3. Super Mario Bros. 3 is my favorite Mario, and so we are going to play that tonight. Hello, Avenged Sevenfold fan, and it's that kid. Hello, Prop 420, and everybody else. Welcome to the stream. Welcome. Today we're playing some games, and I needed some comfort gaming tonight, so we're going to go straight into the gaming, and we're going to play some of that good old school Mario. I have been having a kind of rough couple weeks, and so I wanted to play something that, even though I've played it before, helps bring a happy smile to my face. So I was kind of looking at Super Mario Bros. 3 or Mega Man or anything else like that. Went with the Super Mario Bros. 3, and that is where we want to be. Is one of the old Sonic going to be up here? I don't think there's going to be any Sonic tonight. Tonight we're just going to play Super Mario Bros. 3. We're going to play no warps. We're just going to play through the game solid and see how we do. I am not a super great Super Mario Bros. 3 player, so my expectation is that we will not beat the game tonight, but we're gonna hang out and try it. So thank you all for being here. I hope you have a lovely night. I hope that you will all hang out and have a good time with me. Hello, Falcon Man and Yugi. It's good to have you here. You're good at older Marios. I am bad. I am just bad at things in general. Boom. Oh man, I started my my nightly Coke drinking before I start my stream a little bit late, so I gotta finish that up here tonight. Hello, Psycho Mike. Welcome, my friend. Welcome, everybody. Alright, let's Hello, Stingray Gaming. Stingray actually just played this game just recently during his 24 hours of streaming for Extra Life, a charity event for children. Wow. Hello, NES Slowdown, huh? Woo! Alright. Yeah, so this weekend... Oh, shit. That was dumb. This weekend was the Extra Life event, streaming day for charity. And so a whole bunch of people ended up doing a whole bunch of charity donations and everything else like that. I saw Stingray stream for 24 hours again. This is something that I have really liked doing in the past, but unfortunately could not do this year just due to the circumstances in my life. It turns out that when you have a crippled wife, it becomes a lot more difficult to do what might even be basic things. All right, come on. Fall down. Fall down. There we go. Hello, Matus. How's it going? Oh, there we go. Come on. Boom! Alright. I don't think I'm going to be able to get another one out of this, though. Nope, that's it. That is it. Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to do it again. We'll just go with this. CPG should always cheat, so if need be, we'll cheat our way to glory. As we always do here on the Chris Plays Games channel. Alright, I'm going to sit through here. Hello, Zio Kim and everybody else, Celsa Louise, and so on. Yes, Barbara was super successful this year. I was pretty successful last year. I was pretty happy with it, but I'm always surprised when I look back and realize that most of my money is coming from like 3 people. I mean, not quite 3, but not very many. It's kind of like, you know, I made like $1,500 in donations, but it came from like 14 donors or something like that. And it makes me feel, you know, both a little bit, you know, like, oh, well, imagine what I could do if I could get a lot more people donating or something else like that. But you know, I don't have... but I don't know how to do that. And obviously, if you get a lot more people, the chances that you're going to... Oh, fucking... Jesus Christ. That was dumb. The chances that you will be able to maintain that same kind of high level of like $100 per person doesn't make sense. You know, in the same way that when you have a very small number of subscribers, you might have a very high ratio of like sponsors to subscribers, but you can't really maintain that across, you know, hundreds of thousands unless you're like One Shot Girl and just have this amazing community that you're able to do that with. So I'm not gonna do warp, so I'll just go this way. Oh, really? That was actually a pretty bad, like, Goomba 1-ups situation. Usually I'm able to get a lot more than that, so. Bum, 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 bum. Foxes needs a history lesson. I think you do need a history lesson, Foxes. But I don't think we're talking about that tonight. I wasn't anyway. So maybe you're trying to talk to, maybe you talked in the wrong chat. Excuse me. So are those my stats, It's That Kid, or someone else's? By the way, hello Carlos Manriquez. Anyway, so yeah, so I did not stream on Friday because I had a kind of hard day. I took Jess to the doctor to have them look at her foot because it was giving her pain, and then I came home and I fell asleep, and I was like, hey. Oh right, I came home and it was like 6 o'clock and I fell asleep and I woke up at 7:30, and the idea of like recording a CPG rant made me super anxious and stressed, and I was like, you know what, if I can't even sit down and record a video, like I am not prepared for this. So that actually happened again today. I almost bailed again because we went to the doctor today. On the plus side today, she actually got her splint off, she got her stitches out, and so she got a cast put on. The doctor is super impressed with her progress, so her foot is doing relatively well. But like I was with, you know, I came home at 3 and we kind of like went out and got the doctor and went to the doctor and everything else like that. By the time we got home, it was 7:30. And so it's like, you know, it's just like 4.5 hours to just kind of go to a doctor's appointment. Hello, Jim Francis. Hello, hello. You want a cheeseburger? All right. Oh, that is not a mushroom. That is a star. Damn. Alright, that's good. But yeah, so her stitches are out, her cast is, or she's got a permanent cast on her now, which means that people can actually sign it. I think her first plan is to write, I do all my own stunts on her cast, and then go from there. She's got a, she got the stitches out, her bone graft site and her incision are healing well. They did an x-ray of the foot, that's healing well. She's still got kind of intermittent pain and stuff like that, but the doctor's just like, nope, that's gonna happen. And overall, I think she's doing really, really, really well. The doctor's super happy with her healing and everything else like that. So pretty much as well as can be expected, given that she's dealing with extremely difficult, you know, surgery and incision and everything else like that. Now she's still got a bunch of weeks left where she's going to be dealing with you know, a cast and unable to move on her feet and everything else like that. It's going to be a while still before she gets to the point where she is able to do physical therapy, but at the very least, in the meantime, she's able to you know, do a little bit. But god damn it, that was stupid. I freaking hate Hammer Brothers. Like, I'm so bad at Hammer Brothers. Yeah, so, overall, It's That Kid, that's probably not a totally unreasonable idea. A lot of the views I get actually come from 2 videos I've got. One is the Family Tracker tutorial, and one is the default video game tutorial. I got a bunch of views recently off of the Cuphead tutorial I made. There's just a couple minutes, which is nice. Oops. I pushed the wrong button. I was like, why is it not going? And then I realized that I just had to push the other button. You saw my latest rant. I don't know what my latest rant was, Jim Francis. Which one? I have so many rants that I publish and then I forget about, and so on and so forth. I think there was one about YouTube creators are, like, YouTube cares about creators. It was pointed out by a good friend of mine that, like, YouTube is a company. YouTube doesn't care about anything. The people who work for YouTube can care, but as a company, like, companies don't care about things. They invest in things, or they don't invest in things. They, you know, hire and set principles. They do other things like that, but they don't actually care or not care. But yes, YouTube does love creators. Of course they love creators. They have to love creators because otherwise they don't have a business. And I think a lot of people forget that, and they think that, like, YouTube just, like, you know, doesn't care about creators, and it's like, no, that's not true. Like, we don't care about every creator. Like, we don't care about, you know, super spammy, you know, things. We don't care about some types of things, but most creators we actually care about, and our goal, excuse me, is to make sure that the largest number of creators possible are making a living off of YouTube. We have to do all kinds of stuff to make that happen, and we invest, you know, millions, tens of millions of dollars a year on things like that, so But yes, I after everything that has been going on in my life, I decided that I needed to play a game that I just like to play. So, Mario Brothers 3. Boop-a-doo. So Jim Francis, I think that the reality is that, like, it's a hard trade-off to make to say, like, do you like this one or that one more? The problem with that is, of course, that, like, you have to care about both. If you don't have viewers, you don't make, like, creators aren't happy, right? And so it's not, like... Although fans first, I think one of our guiding principles is fans first. Like it's one of the principles that YouTube stands by, is that, you know, fans first is our principle. But fans first, of course, also means you have to keep creators happy in order to achieve that. You can't achieve a fans first approach if if what you're doing is pissing off all your creators, because obviously your fans aren't happy about that either. So that's nice, John Cooney. So I think that that's like an important thing to realize, and like YouTube isn't stupid, it knows that. Andres, it's great to see you here. Welcome to the stream, my friend. It is, I agree that this is one of my favorite, people always ask me what my favorite video game is, and I basically say it's either this or, I used to say Mega Man 3, but I think that that's just nostalgia. After looking back at it, I'm pretty sure that I like Mega Man 2 better. Mega Man 2 is just like the epitome of Mega Man. I think it's the right length, it's got a lot of the initial things. Mega Man 3 kind of tried to shove everything in a little bit more, and I didn't like it as much. But this game is definitely, you know, #1 tops on my list is Mega Man 3, Super Mario Bros. 3, Mega Man 2, two best games in everything. My two favorite games. Now, I've played a lot of other games, and I'm certain that there's other games that if you ask me, I'd be like, oh yeah, that's a really good game, but if you just ask me that question, that's what I'm going to be like. I don't like Mega Man X, I don't like X, I don't like sliding. And I know that some people really dig the sliding or wall jumps, right? That's the thing. I like sliding, I don't like wall jumps. And Mega Man X is a big wall jump game, and I cannot stand wall jumps as a mechanic. And so, oh shit, no. Oh god damn it, that was really stupid. That was dumb. I'm gonna pay for that. Oh no! Oh god damn it! My skills are off tonight. Jeez Louise! There we go. Much better. Yeah, I mean, it's not great, but I'll take it. Alright, let's see. What do we got here? Mrs. CPG can just, like, memorize these things. Like, she's just like, oh yeah, the star's in the lower left corner. And then, like, she's just like, I mean, Mrs. CPG just has a knowledge for things that is freaking crazy. Fuck. So my experience, Andre, with Sierra games is that I mean, I don't know which Sierra games, if you're thinking of point and clicks, my general experience with point and click adventures is that I have not really enjoyed playing them. I did do Return to Zork, but the problem with them is basically like figuring things out during a live stream sucks. Because it's really boring. Like wandering around and doing nothing is kind of silly, and those old Sierra games were basically designed for you to sit around and not do anything about 90% of the time you were playing, and then have these massive insights. And since I always want to be doing something or achieving something, like wandering around and not knowing what to do is kind of shitty, but just like reading a walkthrough and then following it is also not super exciting. And so while I can do it, I don't really like to do it. I didn't know there was a thing up there. Learn something new every day. So for me, I have not had a lot of you know, thoughts to do that. So if you're doing like an old point and clicky adventure, I think that it gets really dull to not follow a walkthrough, and watching someone like play a walkthrough, like watching someone follow a walkthrough, I've decided is not what I consider to be compelling gameplay most of the time. So that's what I did with Return to Zor, because I initially played and I was like, oh, I'm gonna pretend I don't know anything, and then I was like, fuck it, it's 4 in the morning and no one's awake, because that was a game I played during my very first 24-hour live stream. So I was like, you know, whatever, I'll just follow it. And it still took me like 3.5 hours to follow the walkthrough, like just to follow the walkthrough, like literally just following the steps. Granted, again, it was 4 a.m. It might have been less had I been, you know, awake. But even so, it was not good. And so I have generally avoided that ever since, so. No, yeah, so that was a leftover from Friday, Chrissy. I changed my stream title. Oh, it does say that, doesn't it? That is a good thing to fix. Super Mario Brothers 3. 3. Bros 3. God damn it. YouTube, your fucking search sucks. Why is this so hard for you? Hello, Christy Cunningham. Good to see ya. Good to see ya. Oh god, don't die. So yeah. Oh fuck. I'm an idiot. So yeah. So that is my kind of opinion on these general like point and click adventures on games like that. Is just I haven't figured out a good approach for that yet. I'm not totally against the idea, but that's just kind of the design that they had. I hate this level. I'm gonna go to the Toad House. Do I play Wii U? I own a Wii U. I have played Super Mario Maker, and I have played Splatoon. I played it both on stream. There's actually a time at the beginning of 2016? Yeah, 2016. So not this year, but last year, where I actually played Super Mario Maker and Splatoon regularly on my live streams. So the third Friday of every month, I would just do a stream where I just played Super Mario Maker and Splatoon. So okay. I'm using a PS4 controller, John. So I have a PS4 controller that I'm using wired via USB. This has been the controller I've used for a long time. You can buy pretty much any old like Xbox or cheapo controller, but I really like the feeling of the PS4 DualShock controllers. I think that they're they're really kind of nice and weighty, and so they have some heft to them, and I found that that's pretty good. And it's a lot better than the stupid like NES controllers that cut into your hand when you played. So, well, Jim Francis, and just to be clear, this was entirely my fault. YouTube has actually made a lot of progress on getting the game titles correct, but the problem that they have is twofold. One, the game title library is not nearly as broad as it needs to be. It feels more like it's based on Wikipedia than it is based on like, you know, Steam or some other kind of library. And so while it has good coverage on a lot of older things, especially a lot of like newer indie titles, it tends to have poor coverage on. The other thing that it has is that the search UI is just really bad. And so it will just fail to return results for things that it has. So if you type Super Mario Bros. /3, it will not return the result. You have to type Super Mario Bros. And then choose the one with the 3 from the drop down. Do I want to go up top? I don't know what's up here. I use Nestopia, Andre. So I have used OpenEMU on... Oh, this is the part that's all, like, P-switchable or whatever. I don't remember if there's anything, like, interesting over here, or if I'm just, like, wasting time for no good reason. Yeah, so I can come through here and get all these coins, but I don't really care that much. Like, okay, I'm gonna get, what, like, 1 extra life? Hello, Joy! Long time no see! Welcome, welcome! Yeah, SNES USB controllers are fine. I did actually buy, like, a SNES USB controller because Mrs. CPG refuses to play SNES games on anything that isn't directly a SNES controller. And the one that I bought just didn't work, but that's what I got for buying, like, a cheap SNES controller. So I do think there's a lot of, like, cheap controllers out there, and it's kind of like, this is just a USB, like, hid device. Why is it so hard for you to make this freaking work? Like USB joysticks is supposed to be a pretty simple thing. But yeah, I've been happy with my PS4 remotes. I am clearly not a holistic type of person. You know, I play on emulators, I use save states, I do all this other stuff. So in general, my general mood is like, I'm gonna do what the fuck I want. So yeah, Christy, that sounds about right. I mean, the Switch has been out for a fair while now, so I'm a little bit surprised that they're even still kind of selling new Wii U's. So that does not surprise me at all. That would be consistent with the general, like, you know, you have to stop making stuff at some point. You don't just make it forever. Hello, Ace Raiders. Welcome, welcome. Hello, Cat Joy, Meow, the Grand Admiral, and everybody else. Welcome to the stream. I'm the Chris who plays games, playing retro games every Monday at 9:15, whatever I feel like every Friday at 9:15. Tonight we're playing some Super Mario Bros. 3, because as the title says, it's my party, and I'll play Super Mario Bros. 3 if I want to. I guess that's the description, not the title, but you know, it's the same. Ace Unhacked, my friend, welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream now. Welcome to the streamity stream. The government doesn't care, Jim Francis. Whether it is actually technically a copyright violation is an open question. You know, really emulating games is not the part that would be a copyright violation. It would instead be the, you know, copying of the ROMs, because, you know, copyright is the thing that gives you the exclusive right to copy, distribute, blah, 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 blah. And in general, no one is going to, like, enforce that against you. You're never going to see somebody go to, well, practically speaking, you're never going to see somebody go to, you know, jail or something like that just for playing an emulated video game. It is not inconceivable to think that an operator of, like, cool ROMs or something else like that could not get in trouble with, you know, the copyright holder. But Nintendo would basically have to file a copyright infringement lawsuit and follow up, and more likely they would just send a cease and desist or a DMCA takedown and not bother. In fact, there are a lot of games that you can't find very easily on some of the more popular emulator sites because they have received DMCA takedowns. So they all kind of have processes in place that they use to respond to those things. And so they're required by law to react when people send a legitimate takedown that has these elements and blah, blah, blah. And they do. So overall, you will definitely see some cases where a website operator will respond to DMCA claims. So yes, that's true. Welcome new subscribers. Emerald Minecart and one other. Was that? I don't remember. I didn't notice. I never see anything. I'm such a crazy person. Wow, there's like 8 more people here. Hello, hello. Hello, Angeline ASRS. Angeline Asrus. I don't know how to say that. It was Cat. Welcome, Cat. Welcome, welcome. But yes, I am the Chris who plays games, playing retro games every Monday at 9:15, whatever I feel like every Friday at 9:15. Tonight we're playing some Super Mario Bros. 3. I've actually played this game a couple times before on stream, but it's been a hard few weeks for me, and so I am just getting back into it and playing some old school video games. This is one of my favorite NES games, my favorite games of all time, really. And so I just wanted to have a nice, relaxing evening where I was not trying to figure out something new, not trying to follow a walkthrough, not trying to do anything else. I was just playing some Super Mario Bros. 3. I'm not super good at this game, as you can see from the amount of times I keep getting hit. You know, I'm not going to win any speed running records. I'm not going to do anything else like that. But I can sit back, talk with all of you, and have a good time. Hello, LJ Artistic Intentions. This is Nestopia Modern Retro. Nestopia is what I use for all of my NES emulation. I do not like GameCube controllers. I find the shoulder buttons to be annoying. And I actually, there's pretty much nothing I like about GameCube controllers, other than they work with the GameCube. So, hello, Victor, welcome to the stream, and welcome, welcome. Magical Potato Cat, oh my, oh my, oh my. I did play Super Mario Sunshine on the GameCube, and I even did that on stream at one point, and I have a lot of love for Super Mario Sunshine. It is definitely near and dear to my heart. Mostly nostalgia. I played Super Mario Sunshine when I was first dating my first girlfriend. So the summer that I was, oh, the summer I was dating my first girlfriend, we basically played Super Mario Sunshine all summer, so I have a lot of positive, fond memories of that experience, so... Yeah, Modern Retro, I mean, on Mac you want to use OpenEMU, on Windows you want to use Nestopia. You know, in the old days I did use Nesticle, you know, back in 1998 or so. It is interesting the difference in kind of overall compatibility between something like Nesticle and something like Nestopia. There are so few games that I've had any trouble emulating these days. The only thing I can think of is I think River City Ransom gave me trouble, where there was just like this one part of the game that just flat out did not work. Like an event that was supposed to trigger, like I went and like looked it up because I was like, this cannot be this bad. And I went and looked it up, and there was an event that was supposed to trigger that just never did in part of the game. So but yeah, so I'm a big I forgot what I was saying. I'm totally blah blah blah. Yeah, I mean, I think that's a common thought, is basically like Super Smash Brothers, you basically have to play with the GameCube controller. I know that Gar, who is a Ivan Van, who's a coworker of mine at Google or YouTube, is a pretty decent Smash player. He goes to competitions and gets out of the first round and other things like that. And he will definitely tell you that, you know, you can pry my GameCube controller out of my cold dead hands. God damn it! Why did I do that? Thank you very much, Cat Joy. Have a good night. No problem, Andre. I am always glad to help people with emulators. So yeah, overall copyright status of emulation is, as an individual doing it, is like, you're not going to have trouble. Not to say it is impossible for you to have trouble, not to say this as if I'm your lawyer. I am not a lawyer, but you're not going to get in trouble. The only people who could get you in trouble would be Nintendo, and the likelihood that they care is just so low at this point. So... they do have a very snarky, you know, webpage on their website that explains how, you know, you are definitely absolutely violating the law when you emulate things and could go to jail and blah blah blah. It's not that they're lying or wrong. It's just that they're you know, doing whatever. Yeah, so Andre, for the PS4 controller, the only thing I'll say, I think that you can just plug it in and use it. You'll have to configure it in your input options, and it should just work. The only thing is, if it doesn't, you may have to, in some cases, use a program called DS4 Windows. DS4 Windows will basically transform the inputs of your whatever this thing is called, of your PS4 remote to act like a, oh shit, to act like an Xbox remote. I'm pretty sure you don't actually need that for Nestopia. I think it supports both DirectX and like, well, there's two different things. There's direct, like DS4 is something, dual stick. So there's like a dual stick remote, like joystick option, and a DirectX joystick option. One is what an Xbox would use, and the other is what the PS4 uses. So there are some games that you will need to have that software running, but for Nestopia, I think you just plug it in and set it up, and everything works fine. So, I love the frog suit, but I always save it. So. No, Falcon, so Avenged, I do think that, there is certainly more active copyright, enforcement against more modern consoles. There is no doubt. And so you can, I would say that emulating things that are still being sold, so emulating things that are still being sold bothers me for two reasons. One, if it's still being sold, you should just buy it. Like, I own Super Mario Bros. 3, I have the cart in my basement. This is not just me, like, stealing a game because of whatever. And while I do have a bunch of these games, like Nintendo games that I've played that I don't own. Almost all of them are ones that you can't buy. Like, you can't buy a new cart of River City Ransom. You can't just go to the store and pay, like, even 50 bucks and get it. And certainly not the, like, 5 or 10 bucks that would be more typical for a game of that style today. And so, interesting. That 1-Up has a blue palette. Not green. Oh shit, was not thinking exactly what was going to happen there. That was stupid. Is Halo 2 considered? I mean, retro is a very much an eye of the beholder type of thing. I don't know how old Halo 2 is. My general feeling is basically anything before, like PS2 and earlier is retro. So that dates back to like 2000, 2001. Anything before that I would consider retro. Anything after that is kind of questionable. I mean, and that's true of all of us, I think, Andre, is that we've all had, you know, we all kind of had an NES and whatever else like that. But I think basically my point is, like, if you have a Wii U, just buy a Wii, like, if you want to play Wii U games, buy a Wii U. The other thing is, of course, that emulating Wii U games is actually harder. And so, like, the most up-to-date things I've emulated are things that are from, like, 2000... like I said, 2000, 2002, and even those, I will usually buy the games, you know, so like when I emulate a game, I will oftentimes buy a copy of it from Good Old Games or Steam or whatever, even if it's an older game. Even if I'm going to play the emulated version, I will still buy the, I'm going to go like to the last door. I feel like I should go to the last door. I'm not sure why I feel that way. Alright, I need to actually pay attention to which door I'm going through. I'm going to go through door number 4. I feel like door number 4 feels like a good door. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nope. Okay, 4 is bad. I'm going to go for 5. So Matus, the real question is, like, if Monty Hall walks up and you pick door number 3 and then he opens door number 2 to show you something else, do you stay or do you change? Do you stay with door number 3 or do you switch to door number 1? You know, it's the classic Monty Hall problem. There you go, Stingray's got the answer. So I found that GameCube emulation, while perfectly serviceable, was not, even though I've got like a high-end PC with basically the best CPU that money can buy. Okay, so I've gone through all the early doors. Let's go through some more. Let's go for door number 5. Door number 5. I think it's door number 6. Alright, well, I'm going to take door number 5 anyway, because I haven't yet, and I'm being methodical. Ow, fuck nuggets. Oh, shit, and now I died. Well, I didn't die, I just gotta go get... Maybe I can get this. Nope, I think it's gone. But yeah, so, well, I forgot what it was. Oh yeah, so GameCube performance was not acceptable on my machine. It caused, especially for the purposes of streaming, 4, 5, 6. You were right, Christy. Good job. Good job. Well done. Thank you very much. See, that guy I can do. It's easy. Easy. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Forgot what I was talking about again. I always do that. Probably wasn't important. Oh, seriously? Alright. Well. I played, what was I playing? Oh, I was playing Super Mario Sunshine. And my experience with Super Mario Sunshine was, it was not acceptable performance. It was causing frame drops out the wazoo. I tried to turn down all the knobs that I had to turn down, and I was not able to get reliable 30 frames per second capture on my machine. And so like I have an i7 6700K and I could not do that. Wow, that was shitty. So they could run it. This is another thing where I'm not sure. Oh shit, I'm just supposed to slide down and let the magic happen. I think this is my problem. I'm trying to run. Hello, Dada Roromeme. Nope, I am not. That was the wrong answer. Okay, let's run as fast as we can. There we go. That was a better answer. Now I'm asking the right question. Oh god! Shit. Oh, I wanted the flower, or the leaf, or the whatever. Now everything is bad. Everything is terrible! Screw it! I'm out of here. I don't have to take this. I'm going home. Oh! Fuckity fuck fuck. Hello, Army of Dark Raiders. Hello, Gaslichu. That's right. That's right, Jose. Hello, Lumi Games and RPG Industries, Benjamin Baxter, and etc., etc. Yeah, so I mean, I'm not gonna swear that like that was, you know, that it's everyone's problem, and I didn't try it again after that, and I didn't really experiment with it. Like, I just figured, like, I've got a high-end PC, like, I'm playing freaking GameCube games, this won't be a problem. And then at the end of the day, it was like, nope, this is definitely a problem. Okay. Get to the P jump. There we go. That was my mistake earlier. Wow, that felt close. Okay. I'm gonna jump past you. Get the... Oh, it's not a leaf. I wanted a leaf. Damn it. I can only shoot 2 fireballs at a time. What is this? What am I, a farmer? I want all the fireballs. At least in Mega Man you could have 3 shots. Boom. Boop, boom, 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 shakalaka. Hello, Trump is #1. I don't like your name. I'm not gonna ban you so long as you don't be a dicks, but I don't like your name. Yeah, so Mr. 32, I think a lot of it is that, so for streaming I found that there's this property that is not really well understood, or the property that I don't understand, very well, which is that, if your graphics card is fully utilized, and most games will try to fully utilize your graphics card, OBS has a hard time doing a game capture. And so this can be sometimes probably part of the issue. So for Tomb Raider, like, I can play the game at 60 frames per second, but I can only capture it at 20. And that's like, I don't know exactly what the cause of that is, but it is, shit. It is a thing that I have seen happen, and so because my GPU is relatively underpowered, I mean it's only a GTX 950, I think that that's probably the explanation of my issue, is that, like, you know, was it Dolphin? Dolphin was probably just trying to, you know, do its best to render the game as well as possible, and in doing so, alright. Talking, you don't get to say things for 5 minutes. Saying good things about Trump here is a way to get yourself banned. I wouldn't allow it in my living room. I don't allow it in my stream. You can come back if you want to in 5 minutes and try again, and not talk about how great Trump is, or you cannot. It's up to you. But I will also say that I am not expert in this. It's just something that I have found and kind of tried once. And since I don't usually play games that are that new anyway, it wasn't a high priority for me to fix. I kind of considered that to be a, like, well, this is what you get for trying to stream and, you know, emulate games from, you know, from that era. Like, that's not a thing we're gonna support here. But this is also the case with, like, Mirror's Edge Catalyst, is that, you know, playing Mirror's Edge Catalyst, I had absolutely no problem. Like, playing on Ultra, I was getting 40 frames per second, but when I tried to stream it, I was getting, like, frame drops, so. Yeah, no kidding. Don't they have their own safe spaces, Jose? Hello, Dark Dragon of Gaming. Yeah, but I think the question, Falcon Man, in the cultural zeitgeist of our time is, does the cheese go on top of the patty or does it go underneath the patty? Because I'm pretty sure that became a high priority issue for Google to fix earlier this week when the CEO of Google decided that changing the Google emoji to have the cheese on top of the patty was an absolute necessity. You know, this is the kind of thing where people are always complaining, like, you know, oh, you should have done this instead of that. You know, why are you taking people's time away from this and doing it on that? And I'm usually not very sympathetic to those complaints because it is not the case that, like, someone who can work on emoji can work on improving YouTube's monetization algorithm. It is not the case that someone who works on emoji can work on, you know, improving YouTube's policy enforcement responses. It is not the case that someone who works on emoji can, like, you know, go ahead and improve the issues with Comcast's new link turn up in San Francisco, causing many Comcast users in the Bay Area to be unable to watch YouTube. But when the CEO is like, we're going, like, even as a joke, is like, we are absolutely going to fix this hamburger. That's where I kind of draw the line at, like, it doesn't matter if you are, like, you know, joking or whatever else like that. You can't say that as a CEO with distracting resources from things that would be better put in other places. And so it does bother me a little bit. Like, it bothers me, like a random person doesn't have a responsibility to that effect, but the CEO has a responsibility where he doesn't just get to say, like, oh, we're gonna do XYZ. I don't know. Under modern retro. Oh man, I caused a war. Alright, just to be clear, is a hot dog a sandwich? Because I feel like that's another thing that we've never really discussed in the stream before. You know, we've discussed healthcare, we've discussed the fact that, you know, Trump is not #1, we've discussed many things, but we have not discussed whether whether a hot dog is a sandwich. Alright, I want to get whatever this block is, because I feel like this block is something. I'm just gonna keep jumping over this fish until I can hit this block. Alright. Go somewhere cool. That was not useful at all. A hot dog is a burger? Not sure how I feel about that statement. Oh shit! That was dumb. I just see a P-switch, and I'm like, P-switch, hit the P-switch, and then that happens. That was dumb. Oh, fuck. Yeah. Yeah, there's no problems here. What are you talking? God damn it. I wanted that. Alright, you know what? I'm just gonna hold on to this, and I'm gonna kick it into the face of this. Oh no, it broke! I guess those things have a time limit. The more you know, fuckity fuck. No, I'm just, so my opinion is that cheese goes on top of the patty. I think that the Google emoji is wrong, but at the same time, I think that people who are freaking out about it are silly. And I think that the CEO making a big deal out of it, accidentally or on purpose, I don't know, I guess it's playful, and I get it. It's hard for me to be super pleased with, like, Google being playful, because I feel like, I just feel like our reputation is kind of garbage. And maybe that's just my imagination. Like, it's so hard for me to look past my own personal biases around, like, oh my god, everyone is always yelling at me that we're doing something wrong. And everyone is always yelling at me that we're doing something wrong, but that doesn't mean that that everyone feels that way. It doesn't mean that that's like a commonplace perception. It means that I have put myself in a space where people are oftentimes going to yell at me because we're doing something wrong. And so that's a thing I sometimes have to get past is, like, no, it's not that we're doing everything wrong. It's that, like, the people who come to me on our YouTube or find me on Twitter or the people that I follow are just kind of jerks. Oh! Oh! Okay, we're good. Everything's fine. Do I think the iPhone X is actually good? I do not have an opinion on whether the iPhone X is actually good. My opinion is that $1,000 for a phone, while understandable, is entirely too much, and I think that you're paying the early adopter price, and anyone who pays that price is probably not getting their money's worth. So... yeah, Modern Retro, and yours truly, right, included. I am definitely a whiner as well, so I don't blame people for being whiners, but anyway. Were you talking to me, Jess? No, okay. I love iOS. I have an iPhone SE now, and I am much happier with it than I was with Android. I think that the OS feels like the OS gets in my way less often, and I think that that matters a lot to me. It's something that I felt like I constantly felt on Android, was like, I am fighting the OS here. Yep. Okay. Julie would like to say hello.
Thank you. Yes. Hello, everyone.
There you go. It's 10 o'clock at night.
Oh, it is?
Yes.
Oh, dear.
Go to bed.
Okay.
Love you. Good night.
Good night, everyone. That was not much time, but...
Yes. You're just saying hello because you need to go to bed. Go to bed. Anyway, that is my lovely daughter, Miss Julianne, who should be in bed. The reason, of course, that she is only here for a few minutes is because she didn't actually start her homework until much later than she should have, and therefore she didn't finish it until just now. So yeah, I don't know a lot about the iPhone X because I just bought a new phone, and because I don't want a giant phone, and because I'm not really excited about buying a first-gen Apple product because they tend to be overly priced, and I don't think that this is any exception. Yes, but Falcon Man, she's not in Central Time, she has an Eastern Time, so... I did hear Razer made a phone that can run at 120 FPS. I mean, it got better, Stingray. I told her to go to bed and she went to bed, so do your homework is an issue forever, but... I mean, or Chaos, it wouldn't take up the majority of her time if she actually, like, sat down and tried to do it, instead of attempting to gain my sympathy by not doing her homework and spending the entire evening spending time talking to her friend on Facebook. This is not a case where I think the school is being unfair. Overall, I think Cambridge schools are pretty reasonable about the amount of homework that they give, and I don't have a lot of problems with it, but you have to actually do it. You have to actually sit down and work on it, so... Oh, you could, I mean, I guess he said it twice. I was gonna let him go, but, you know, if you're gonna say sorry, Mr. Snowflake, twice, then you just lose out, man. Like, his presence also bothers me, Modern Retro. I mean, I am a snowflake. I will stand by that. But this is my space. Like, it's not that I need you to give me a space in your house. It's that this is my house. You came into it. I set the rules. You violated them. Twice. But yeah, so overall, I think Cambridge is pretty good about the expectations on homework. I rarely find that any class gives her more than like 30 minutes of homework a night. She will oftentimes have, you know, like this homework was assigned on Thursday and is due tomorrow. So she has had plenty of time to do something about this homework so that she wasn't doing it tonight, but because she put it off until like 7 o'clock at night on the day it was due, that means that she was working on it for longer. And because Julie has, you know, some attention deficit problems and takes medication during the day, but if she starts her homework at 7 o'clock at night, it's actually very hard for her to work on it effectively because by that time her medication is worn off and she is less able to concentrate. So I think that there's a lot of, you know, what would take you 30 minutes had you done it in a timely manner is going to take you a lot longer when that's the case. So hello, Denelson Zika. Welcome, welcome. Yes, I am Mr. Snowflake. I don't know. I think the easiest one. Does she play video games? She doesn't do her play video games as much as I do, but she does play some. She was a big fan of Animal Crossing on the GameCube when we had that. She's played through a couple of the different Zeldas, especially she played a lot of Twilight Princess, I feel like. She is a junior in high school. My favorite power-up is probably, I like the leaf. I don't know what that's called, the raccoon thingy. Oh, Falcon Man, I mean, snowflake is a term used to kind of denigrate liberals like myself. So it's a term, I mean, snowflake is supposed to mean like, oh, you're so easily insulted, blah, blah, blah. And so what he's referring to there is that I said, like, you know, this is my space. And so this comes back down to the general narrative of many conservatives of like, it is my right to kind of invade your space and do whatever I want. If you ask for, you know, to not be, you know, affected by my abuse, you're asking for a safe space and blah, blah, blah. Tanuki leaf? No, the Tanuki is different. The Tanuki suit, I feel like, is the weird stone thing, isn't it? You hate Twilight Princess? I like Twilight Princess. Or is that not Tanuki? I could be wrong. I get all these things confused. So, there's something interesting, and it's been long enough I don't remember it. There's something interesting about the way that this level is made, where like I mean, obviously there is like the giant sprites are special, but like they're just like the same sprites blown up 4 times rather than new sprites, something along those lines. I don't know. Yes, there you go. Zio Kim is answering my questions because I can't finish my statement. I mean, it's used by the younger generation, but it's used as a kind of mostly as a conservative talking point against more liberal folks. Yeah, they look kind of like raccoons, right? They're not actually related, but they look a little bit alike. Yes, that was nice. I like that. All right, let's go through here. So I learned a trick from Stingray the other night, which is that you can use the cloud to effectively skip some of the hardest parts of World 8 and make it really easy to kind of get through. So if you have 3 clouds, you can basically skip the entire like world set in World 8. Which includes a couple of kind of difficult levels that, especially at the end of a stream, have taken me a bunch of time to do, and just go straight to the Bowser's Castle. And because there's a warp pipe before the, like after you would use the cloud, but before the castle, like even if you die on the castle, you still end up resetting to the warp pipe rather than to before the levels. So, it's a really useful, trick. Tom Nook is from Animal Crossing. I think he is supposed to be just a raccoon, although the kind of similarity to the Tanuki naming is now making me wonder if maybe I was just silly. Tanuki is Japanese for raccoon? Really? That sounds... I thought it was something that looks kind of like a raccoon, but isn't. Shit. I feel like one of those is right, and that this is not the one. Just gonna go past you. Assume there's a thing right here and right here. Oh, okay, so that was right. Cool. Oh fuck! No! God damn it! So the Blue Yeti is more expensive. I think that it has more directional control. The Snowball is more omnidirectional. So especially if you're going to be in a space that has kind of more sounds around you, I think it's a useful purchase because it allows you to do a little bit more directional collection of sound. But overall, the differences in quality between them are pretty minor, and the difference in price is pretty significant. So I think for most people, a Snowball is a perfectly reasonable thing. You know, you set it on the desk and you're pretty much all set up. So I would have no problem recommending a Snowball for someone. I know Soy Bomb uses a Snowball, and I think a couple other people do. Yeah. Yeti's 150, a Snowball is about 50. Hello, Lord Pickle King. Yeah, the only problem is that the, oh, fuck. I've done the same one like 3 times now, and I'm getting freaking nowhere. Alright. Lord Pickle King. I think the latency is probably, I mean, this is really just the side effects of ultra low latency. I don't think much has changed about it. As we go. So the AT2020 USB, I feel like it's like the same price as the Yeti, right? I feel like overall the people who get the AT2020 are generally, I don't know, I have found that most of these mics, for my level of audiophileness, I can't tell the difference. I don't know what I'm supposed to be noticing that's different between them. I guess I could probably try like getting a couple of them and doing comparisons and just saying like, hey, you know, this is default out of the box, do the best config I can, whatever, and see what I get out of it. But overall, my feeling is I don't know what's supposed to be different about them. Yes, Pewings are great. I really like them. Jim Francis, I don't have a lot of opinions on computer companies. You know, I built my computer myself. I mean, I trust Intel. I trust NVIDIA and AMD for what they are. I trust, you know, things like that. But I don't have a lot of trust for, like, computer companies in general, so. Oh, fuck! Yeah, so I mean, I think that I honestly think that pretty much anything, the biggest thing is probably feature set and not the differences between them. So, you know, whatever's on sale, it really doesn't matter. I mean, I think that, like, I mean, it's kind of the same in my mind to, like, overall my feeling is that computer companies are sort of like hard drive companies. Like, everyone will have had bad experiences with one of them. And there's not really any reason that most of them are better than the other. But like I said, I don't buy like pre-built computers. I don't do anything else like that. And so I don't have a lot of experience in that. I'm generally happy with Apple, but their computers are very much like good if you want an Apple and bad if what you want is not an Apple. And so for me, who is perfectly happy with Apple computers, that's okay. For someone who wants something that they get from a PC, I just built my own. Fuck. Well, so I buy Apple, like I said, I have an Apple for my laptop, and have always had Apples for my laptops, and have always basically, like, I bought a Medion computer, which is a German company who sold their first computer at Aldi in November 2001, and that's basically the only pre-built computer I've ever bought is the Medion PC that I bought from Aldi back in 2001, and so my like thoughts on this are not super helpful, unfortunately. I'm gonna go through this door and make everything small. I like these big ones. Hello, Miles per hour. Good to see you. Good to see ya. Oh, fuckity fuckwug. Why don't I just go around? Have a good night, Celsa Louise. Alright, I'm just gonna like use a mushroom because I don't need it. Hello, Mrs. CPG. Also known as painstakingly played. Fuckity fuck, fuckity fuck. God damn it. Almost got out of there alive. I keep jumping into that pit thinking I can just like go in and smash the turtle, and it never works out for me. Hooah. I mean, really, it's that bad play. Yeah. Yes, it was the most helpful Mushroom Falcon, man. Most helpful. I mean, Alienware makes probably nice gaming laptops. They're overpriced, but they're not drastically overpriced. I generally would just be against a gaming laptop in general, because I think gaming on laptops is actually just a really hard... It's really hard to fit all of the, like, compute and heat dissipation that you need into a laptop form factor. Like, it's just not generally a good experience, and so to get it, you either need to pay a massive premium or you get a bad experience. Those are, in my opinion, your two options. And while I know that there will be people who will disagree with me on that, I think that whether it's Alienware or Razer or anything else like that, it is very difficult to, you know, think about how you can get a good price on a good gaming laptop. Hello, Snap Click fan. It is a good game. I agree. So I feel like, oh, maybe it's not in this level. I was watching a video on the Super Mario Brothers wrong warp trip trick, which is basically like create a buffer flow by correctly positioning Koopa shells, which is interesting. Yes. Is that good? I feel like that's good. So Jess went in today, and she, after several weeks, probably like a month now, in a splint, finally has a cast, and the cast is, instead of being kind of closed behind, or open behind the leg, it's like fully supporting all the way around, and so although it's made of a lot of the same materials, it's actually a lot, it's a little easier to lift and everything else like that than the splint was. And so for the first time in the past month, Mrs. CPG is able to kind of move her leg around. She broke her foot when we were out in Illinois. There was a set of concrete steps, and it was rainy out. And so our daughter was running through the car. She's like, oh, I hate the rain. It's so wet. Like, we gotta run fast. And Jess is like, don't worry about the rain. The rain can't hurt you. And as she said you, she screamed and fell off the step, you know, crushing her foot in the process. So, she is still slowly recovering. She got the stitches so she had a like 3.5-hour surgery where they put 6 screws in her foot, took a bone graft out of her leg and rebuilt part of her bone with that. I think like fused 2 bones together or something like that. Put everything back together in there. So she has like a 6-inch long incision that she got the stitches out of today, as well as the bone graft site, which had another set of stitches in it. She got all that taken care of, and she's now in a cast rather than in the splint. So she's in decent shape and trying to recover. Still suffering a lot of pain because, you know, when you've had a lot of pain when you've had 3-hour-long surgery in your foot, you're going to suffer to some extent. But other than that, doing okay. Probably won't be able to walk for several months still. She's got to work on, there's going to be a lot more recovery that's still to go there. So at the airport, we just got carted through, like, if you go to the airport and tell them, like, hey, we're going to need a wheelchair, they'll give you a wheelchair and they'll walk you through security and everything else like that. So because she had a wheelchair, we didn't get the carts. The carts are really more for people who are, like, have their own mobility aids, which Jess obviously did not. So we just borrowed a wheelchair. She did have a walker, but yeah. I will stand by. I think that Apple makes a decent, I think Apple makes a solid laptop for the price. It's not a gaming laptop. It's not anything else like that. But their MacBook Air series, I think, is a really solid laptop. I think it's a good form factor, and I think it's a good price for what it is. Oh, fuck! Oh, Jim Francis. I'm not really worried about it. I'll figure it out eventually. We'll get there. All these brands like YouTube Snap Click Fan, is that one of the brands you're thinking of? It was actually interesting in a brand survey among, like, I don't know what it was, like 14 to 25-year-olds or something like that. YouTube is pretty much the most loved brand. It was run by, I think it was paid for by YouTube, but it was run by like a legitimate survey agency. And so, like, you know, they had like Coke and all these other brands out there that they were trying to get information on. And YouTube had by far the most brand loyalty among that age group, which is kind of cool. Lumi, I don't have a strong opinion on editing stuff because I don't do a lot of it, or what I do is very simple. Like, I do kind of clipping and resorting, but that can be done on pretty much anything. Like, I do find that certainly my PC renders videos much more quickly because it has a more powerful CPU than a Mac laptop does. But other than that, I don't have a lot of opinions on on what computer you use for that, something like that, so... Yeah, something like 14 to 25. I don't know exactly. Yes, I agree, or Chaos. Like, if you're going to use a laptop to try and game, Apple is not the answer. But my opinion is, if you're going to use a laptop to game, a laptop isn't the answer. So. I wanted to get up there, but I did not. All right. Yes! And in. Yeah, the only problem with missing the dumb season is that, at least for some parts of there, she's probably going to have to go to physical therapy, which means she's going to be, like, you know, sliding on her butt down the steps in the ice and snow here, so it'll be interesting. Chris GC8. Yeah, absolutely, Snapclick fan. I streamed my first 9 months on this channel using an Apple laptop. There's an emulator called OpenEMU. It actually works better with the PS4 remote than the Windows machine does. So, yeah. I will not be getting COD. I am not a big I've never played Call of Duty. Like, I'm not just not a big Call of Duty fan. I have never played Call of Duty. Hello, Born Depressed. Welcome, welcome. All right, I feel like this world is gonna be my downfall. I don't know why I feel that way. I just feel like World 5 is my downfall. Alphabet Inc. is a parent holding company for the multiple companies underneath the Google brand. It reorganized itself to separate out a lot of the kind of core Google workings, like search, and including YouTube, from the rest of Google. There's actually a good explanation that Mrs. CPG might be able to look up on Reddit, which kind of talks about, like, it's like an explain as if I'm drunk explanation of what Alphabet is. That's pretty funny. But basically, they just were like, okay, well, we've got all this stuff we do that's not really core to our business, but we're reporting it all together, and people think we're spending billions of dollars on it, when in fact we're spending almost nothing. So instead of having everyone think that we're spending billions of dollars on this thing that we're not spending billions of dollars on, we're going to split it out. We're going to have Alphabet, which is this, like, which is this, you know, parent company, and Alphabet is going to be the parent to Google, and also to Verily, and to Google X, and all these projects and everything else like that, so that we'll separate out the kind of question from investors on how much are you spending on X, Y, or Z in a much more simple way. So that's what Alphabet was made for. Just to separate all the things that are being done by Google but that aren't really Google's core business, for the purposes of communicating more clearly to investors, so that they know both how much is being spent and how much is being made from those efforts. And I think the big thing was to kind of reassure investors that we're not spending nearly as much money as they thought we were, but the key was transparency and not any particular takeaway, I think. I have not done a live stream from a PS4. No, I generally like having things on PC because I like to like pull in videos and sounds and everything else like that. So, hey, I got a teddy bear. I don't think Red is failing at all, or Chaos. I think that actually this is the first season of Red Originals that I've looked at and been actually kind of impressed by. I watched all of like, I'm watching Lifeline at the moment. I'm watching Chris Hansen solves crimes on television, Asterisk. I'm watching, you know, a couple other these things, and I'm actually really liking them. I have said repeatedly that I think that there are basically, for most people, no good YouTube Red Original series. And I think that, like, all of what's out there has flaws and and I just watched not just watched, but I earlier watched what's it called, Sneaker Lace Up, and it was a great reality TV show. It was produced by the guy who does America's Next Top Model, and it felt exactly like, you know, a reality TV show. So as someone who loves reality TV, I found that that was exactly what I wanted, and it worked out really well. So I think YouTube is actually coming into its own with its Red Originals, but I don't think that's why people buy Red. We're still another season or two away from that. You know, we don't have a House of Cards yet. We don't have anything else like that. And Susan even said, you know, we're not going to have one House of Cards. We need to have, you know, we need to have 20 of these. We need to be working with independent creators and supporting them. We need to be giving people, you know, some of these tools to, you know, better build these things for themselves. And you know, we need to be figuring out how to fund that, whether it is via, you know, direct revenue or subscription revenue or anything else like that. But if you look at, like, John Green, you know, he posted that 10% of his channel's revenue comes from YouTube Red now. That's crazy. Like, you know, YouTube Red is rolled out for, you know, 5 countries that probably don't represent, you know, even 30% of the global watch time. Like, the fact that he is able to get 10% of his revenue just from paying subscribers is awesome. I did stream Sonic at one point, miles per hour. Yes, I've streamed, in fact, Sonic 1, Sonic 2, Sonic 3 and Knuckles, Sonic CD, Sonic Mania. Is that the new one? So I've streamed most of the kind of classic style Sonic games. I haven't watched Stranger Things at all, and I don't plan to. I didn't watch Stranger Things 1, and I'm not going to watch Stranger Things 2. But yeah, I mean, the driving point behind YouTube Red, right, is not the YouTube Red Originals. The driving point behind YouTube Red is not to pay your creators. The driving point behind YouTube Red is not to do XYZ. The driving point behind YouTube Red is get rid of ads. And as YouTube ads become more and more freaking annoying in an attempt to actually pay creators what they're due, I think that will be a growing reason to do it. And I understand ad block exists, but I also understand that YouTube video consumption is moving heavily towards mobile. I think that, you know, it's moving heavily towards TV. More than 100 million hours of YouTube watch time every day are on TV. And you can't install an ad blocker on your TV. You can't install another YouTube app on your TV. And as the content on YouTube continues to be kind of more well-produced, longer form content, if you look at, like, Ahoy, if you look at, you know, some of these what the fuckity fuck? God damn it. I don't watch Vsauce a lot. I've watched him a couple times, Avenged, but so ad blockers are certainly a thing. But as YouTube consumption moves away from the ads or from the desktop world, I think that you're going to see more and more people who are like, wow, ads are really annoying, and I can just pay $10 a month and I don't have to watch ads, and I get like free Google Play Music all access. I get, you know, free, I get the ability to download so I can watch stuff, you know, on the plane. I can do all these other things. And I'm not saying YouTube Red is going to be for everybody. It's not. YouTube is going to be primarily an ad-supported service for forever, but it's going to offer that option for the hardcore consumers who are out there, and it's going to keep paying bills for me. So, you know, or not bills, it's going to keep paying money to me as a creator. Most of my money from my live streams definitely comes from YouTube Red. In fact, for a long time I didn't even bother to monetize with ads, because like, why bother? I do it now primarily out of like trying to understand ads and adpocalypse and everything else like that. But before, it's like, you know, the ads are like at like the 95% of my users who watch with ads on a live stream are gonna pay, you know, 5% of the revenue. The 5% of users on YouTube Red are going to pay essentially all of the revenue, and I'm not going to have to, you know, bother them with ads. It's great. I guess I could have just used a mushroom on that. Oh well. Sure, Orcas. I think that getting I think it will be interesting to see what Google does with ad blocking over the next couple of years. I think it's more of a thing for web search than it is for YouTube. I think like Chrome is going to have ad blocking for like certain types of ads built into Chrome in the future. So I think that getting involved in an arms race with ad blockers is not in YouTube's best interests. So yeah, so I think Chrome is going to have some form of ad blocking in 2018. They're specifically going to target, I think, so YouTube has announced that in 2018 they're going to get rid of all 30-second unskippables. Like, that format will disappear. The longest unskippable you'll have will be 20 seconds, which admittedly not a lot better, but a little better. And I think that that is directly related to the overall industry moving towards a definition of intrusive ads, and Chrome is going to have the policy that they'll block all intrusive ads, and so YouTube has to switch away from using intrusive ads before that, otherwise their ads will be blocked by Google. So I think that that's probably why. I mean, I use Safari, but Chrome would be my personal preference, but don't let my personal preferences on browsers influence you. Like, use whatever you think is best. I think Chrome is generally the one that is tested best with regard to like YouTube staffers and Google staffers and everything else like that, so. Yeah, exactly, Mr. 32. These websites that are, you know, kind of scummy, crappy, you know, whatever, are like full page ads and take over your browser ads and other things like that are the kind of intrusive ad spec. And so it's really about trying to get rid of these websites that are all ads that pop up and break your browser and take over things and everything else like that. Boom. Alright. Come on, baby. Oh, fucking. Boom. Haha. I feel like I missed a question. Oh yeah, so as far as liking ad blockers, I have never consistently used an ad blocker in my life. I don't do it because my salary has pretty much always been paid by ads, and so, at least in part, and so for me, it feels really hypocritical to, oh shit. To use an ad blocker. It doesn't mean it is for you. I think I have a whole thing about ad blockers somewhere in one of my videos. So I don't have a problem with people who use them. Like, that's a decision you can make. But as someone whose living comes from ads, it would be really kind of hypocritical for me to use an ad blocker. And so I don't. Never have. I have always felt like it is if I don't want to, you know, see ads, then I should not use content that sees ads. Like, if you were to say, like, hey, I was gonna watch your live stream, but I had to watch an ad to get here, I don't want to do that, I would be like, you're right, that's fine. That's fine, Miles per hour, have a good night. Oh, I should use some of my things. And I will also say, like, 30-second unskippables are fucking annoying. Like, I had to do some things on my corporate account. My corporate account doesn't have YouTube Red on it. Oh my god, it's so goddamn annoying. Like, doing things logged out, so goddamn annoying. Like, I was like waiting in line at lunch at one point, and I saw a freaking ad, and I was like, what the hell? It turned out that I was using the CPG account that's like managed by my crschmidt@crschmidt.net email instead of my crschmidt@gmail.com email, and crschmidt@crschmidt.net doesn't have YouTube Red, and crschmidt@gmail.com does. I know that's a complicated thing, but basically, like, I was on Chris Plays Games, but I was on the wrong Chris Plays Games that didn't have YouTube Red, and I was like, ads! I hate ads! So YouTube ads can be really long. Like, YouTube ads can be very long, but they can only be up to 30 seconds if they're not skippable. So any YouTube ad should either be less than 30 seconds or should be skippable. Now, I have seen bugs that make this not true, but yeah. So I actually watched a 27-minute short film once that was an ad, because, like, why not? It was like, I was like just like browsing around on YouTube, and this like 27-minute ad came up, and it was just someone's YouTube video that they were trying to get more views on or whatever. And so I watched it, and you know, it was good. I enjoyed it. It was a great targeted ad for me. I don't even remember what it was at this point. I would love for an ad to be like, hey, here's the thing you watched, you know, N years ago. So. Oh, shit. Boom. Yeah, and I do think that it is totally reasonable to say, like, you know, ad networks are scummy pieces of shit. They abuse my computer, they abuse my resources, they abuse my privacy. Like, it's not about not wanting people to be paid, it's the fact that there are no decent ad networks out there, and I cannot trust any of them. And I also think it's really frustrating that on YouTube, like, if you whitelist YouTube, you will get what look like long unskippable ads, because the ad blocker blocks the skip ad button. But, you know, I don't have a lot that I can say to do about that, because, you know, there is hostile third-party code running inside the YouTube, you know, environment. I cannot somehow, like, just magically fix that problem, so. I mean, Jose, AdSense in theory should be decent, but in practice, people have problems with that too. In practice, there are, you know, people who see, you know, kind of scummy ads that are able to sneak through our processes. We have humans who try to review these things, but advertisers are always trying to sneak through garbage. They're always trying to sneak through, you know, things that violate policy. They will use cloaking, so when a piece of content is crawled by Google's bots, it returns different content than when it is crawled by your browser. So to Google, it will look like, you know, Disney.com, and then when you visit it in you know, a normal browser, it's like, oh, here is all of my spammy content that is, you know, hacking your whatever. Fuck. Hello, Brad Pritchard. So we do a lot to try and keep it clean, but it's an arms race, and like all arms races, it's hard. I'm just gonna fucking use a P-Wing. I mean, calling remote code is not even, like, surprising. Like, that's what most ads are. you know, like usually you talk about like first party and third party. Like in the ad space, you talk about like first party, second party, third party, and fourth party, and sometimes like fifth party ad tracking pixels, where you'll have a company that contracted somebody to build an ad, who then, you know, used a third party platform to build the ad, and then like embedded that third party embedded tracking pixels from another party, and those pixels from another party are, you know, combining data with this other system or whatever else like that. Like, it is a ridiculously complex world of like garbage and junk. So I mean, now that Brad's here, we can all party down. Yeah, I mean, what Facebook sells is the ability for an advertiser to say, I would like to show an ad to someone who is a 25 to 26-year-old female who has been in the same place as someone who recently bought a Keurig, you know, coffee maker machine or something else like that. Like, a lot of what Facebook does is creepy, but it's not that they tell any advertiser about you explicitly. It's that instead they just allow people to make a list of attributes that they want to have be part of their target set. And that list of things can be crazy, you know. Like, I think I don't know, there were stories in the past about, you know, some networks of advertisers or some companies, and I think this might apply to the company that yours truly works for, where they're, you know, working with third-party providers to try and figure out where you shopped in a physical store, and then they give like aggregate statistics to that store so that they can, like, one of the problems for people who run physical stores is that, like, it's hard to track their ROI on advertisements, because like with a non-physical store, you can just be like, oh, like, they clicked on my link, or I set a cookie and they came back. But you can't set a cookie and track someone in real life. So Google then tracks your freaking like credit card receipts, or with these payment processors that deliver them the information, and so they can be like, oh, like, and so like when I was on Android, I was part of like Google consumer surveys, and they were like, oh, did you go to this store recently? So they would be like, oh, like, you know, you did this and it increased the number of visits to your store by 17%. It was crazy. Like, I mean, like, I understand, like, that this is just the way that this information is evolving, but it's such a weird thing. Yeah, like, did you buy groceries at this store? And it's like, oh my god. So I was watching someone do the no-hit challenge, and they were doing it on this particular level. So the no-hit challenge is where you try and go through the entire game without hitting a block or an enemy or anything else like that, except for these guys, I guess, and probably the Bam Bams. Oh no! Fuck! Thought I had it. So... Effles, the best kind of elves. Anyway, welcome Gaming Lawyer, welcome Brad Pritchard, and welcome everybody else who's here. As always, I'm the Chris who plays games, playing retro games every Monday at 9:15, whatever I feel like every Friday at 9:15. I will give people the warning that I am a snarky and bitchy person at the moment. Elves, not elves. There's no V in elves. Don't even be silly. So be gentle. I've been short on sleep, short on energy, and as I pointed out earlier, a little bit short on attention for bullshit. So Trump is #1 fan has already seen the wrath of CPG tonight, or rather the wrath of Van Helsing on behalf of CPG. So yes, wolves as well. Bran in Game of Thrones had a dire wolves. Wait, no, that's not right. Wrath, not the rat. Don't be silly. So, there's actually a podcast that I was just listening to recently called Reply All, and they did a pretty good breakdown of how Facebook basically doesn't need to listen to your microphone. The reality is that, like, you know, I'm not saying any app can't, but Facebook in particular doesn't need to listen to you because they track everything else about you. They track, you know, and in particular what they have is they know where you are and who you're with. And so oftentimes people are like, well, I was talking to my friend about this thing, and then it was this. And it's like, well, did your friend come over to your house? And it's like, yes. And it's like, did they just buy a thing recently? And it's like, yes. It's like Facebook knows what they bought, because they know that because they have Facebook Pixel on every fucking web page on the internet, so they're tracking everything you buy online. So they know what you bought. They know which web pages you went to search for something, even if you went and bought it in a store. And so, like, they can make good guesses about the types of objects that, like, your friends bought. And then your friend shows up at your house, like, the day after buying something, and Facebook is like, oh, cool, like, those two people were in the same place. That person just bought this thing. We're gonna advertise whatever product we're advertising now to them. And while there's a lot of, like, selection bias of remembering, like, oh, I see this ad now. I mean, there's a guy who was like, oh, I, you know, started talking about Casper, and then I started seeing Casper ads. And I'm like, every fucking person on the planet said a goddamn Casper ad. It was like a running joke of the internet. Yes. And so overall, I think that there's a lot of, like, these fears of, like, Facebook is listening to me, and it's like, no, they don't need to listen to you. They know everything else they need to know by knowing where you are and where all of your friends are. Like, they don't need anything more than that. Fuck. I mean, you can have privacy, you just have to work hard on it. You have to give up the ability to stay logged into your websites. You have to, you know, use an alternative browser. You have to do these other things. So, I mean, if you're willing to, you know, log into a website every time you use it, or install an extension that clears your cookies every day, it's pretty straightforward to kind of protect a lot of your privacy. And a lot of people do that. I mean, a lot of people do. And I think, again, this comes back down to ad blockers and privacy and other things like that are totally reasonable things to, you know, care about, if that's what you care about. I can totally understand that. But, like, companies want to know how to make more money. We live in a greedy capitalistic society, and I am I am definitely a part of it. I work for the company that is, you know, known for tracking you. Now, I think that Google has, you know, there is very much a reason, if you watch the recent congressional hearings, that there was a focus of Congress on, like, Facebook and Twitter, less so than on Google. The reason is that Google has a lot more experience in building advertising systems that are respectful of privacy, because we've had to. We've had to because we've been doing this for a long time, and we've been caught not doing it. We have, you know, obligations to the European, you know, Commission. We have obligations to our users and our customers via our privacy policies. We have a lot of things about this where, you know, you can't target, like, one person with an ad. You can't do some of these things that would be possible to do with Facebook ads with Google ads. We would just block those ads from running in the first place because the targeting groups are too small, because we don't want to let you target, you know, 12 people in an advertising group. So I think that I don't know if so YouTube does not, to its knowledge, recommend based on IP. I'm not going to rule out that there isn't some signal in there that is being used, but okay, this is a bad thing to do. But I have talked to the recommendations team several times, and they do not believe that they do any kind of recommendation based on IP. Oh god, don't tase me, bro. Fuck. So, we have a problem tonight. I have not recorded a CPG rant. I am playing this. Well, I'm playing on my PC, Brandy, but I'm playing via an NES emulator. Come on! God damn it, that was dumb. I could do it live. I don't know. The other option is I could not do a CPG rant. I don't know. I don't know. I'm thinking still. I'm tired. That's the reason. I'm tired. It's been a long few weeks. I mean, I know that we've talked about this a little bit in the context of my father-in-law, who we helped nurse for a long time, but nursing people is hard. You know, Chris GCA has done this for a job. He knows that nursing people is hard, and doing it in addition to having another job is hard, and doing it when, you know, your patient is suffering is hard, and it's really difficult. So I am low on energy. This is part of the reason why my stream, like, I canceled my stream on Friday. My stream last Monday, I bailed early because I did not, because, you know, I felt upset because of some things that people were saying in the stream, and it was not about what they were saying. It was about my inability to set aside an emotional reaction. And so, like, saying something small can trigger me, and I just get stuck in a little down loop and other things like that. So, all right. Oh, fuck. So the reason I don't do live rants is because they're exhausting. That's a big part of the things that I found when moving to the pre-recorded rant was like, wow, like it allows me to take a break, to take a breather. So we do have a couple options. I did record a CPG rant last week. It is not great, and a couple people probably saw it after the stream last week because I did link it, but it is there. Another option is that I could try and do it live. Another option is I could try and do nothing. Or we could pull out some other CPG material and rewatch it. I don't know. Hello, 138 Batista. Hello, Bradley Davis. Welcome to the stream, Missildine Online Raiders. It's good to see all of you here. Tonight we're playing some Super Mario Brothers 3, a game that everyone needs to play from time to time. Hello, Ryan Lee and others. Hello, hello. Alright. Okay, that was good. Those were good things. That was not. I had the right idea, but the implementation left something to be desired. Hello, 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 hello. It's good to see all of you here tonight. See, it's kind of what I'm thinking, Stingray. Oh, right. Is this the one where I have to go... Like, everything is the same. I have to fly up. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it. The unmistakable smell of donuts. That sounds like a good smell to have. Oh, come on. Give me. Right. Fuck. Hello, what? Dwayne's a pain. Aha! I can read. Oh my goodness gracious. Hello, Mathros. Welcome, welcome. Alright, let's dodge this guy, get through here, grab another flower thing. Oh, I need the turtle. Oh, geez Louise, really? I gotta have the turtle and the thing? I thought I could just fly up, but you're telling me I need this. Oh, no turtle. Why do I need the turtle? What do I need the turtle for? Can I just smack things with my tail? Hello, Big Newton. Welcome, welcome. Uh-oh. Okay, well, fine then. Give me a reasonable explanation for something I can't possibly understand. Okay, we're out of here. Let's fly up with the turtle. Hooah! Yeah, so it bothers me a little bit when I make CPG rants that I'm not super proud of, because then I'm like, oh, like, I've made this rant, but it's not really good, and I don't know if I should do it or not. I don't know. I'm such a freaking perfectionist at times. Not often, but sometimes. Yeah, I knew I was going up in the wrong place. I just wasn't sure if I would be able to... Oh, right. No, I knew I was going up in the wrong place, and I did it on purpose. Haha. Because... I wanted to reset the turtle. That was my dastardly plan. Unfortunately, I lost my flower, or leaf, so we'll try it again. Jeez Louise. Hello, West Fry. Hello, welcome to the stream. Thank you very much, all you raiders, for coming in. As I said, I'm the Chris who plays games, playing retro games every Monday at 9:15, whatever. I feel like every Friday at 9:15. Tonight we're playing some Super Mario Bros. 3 because it's an oldie but a goodie, a favorite of mine and many others, and I wanted to share it all with you. So thank you very much for coming by the stream. I hope you'll hang out and have a lovely night. I am a software developer and have been for... Rip-a-roni. Rip-a-roni! Alright, I think we're back now. Sorry about that. I think I'm back. I think we're back to not dropping frames and everything else like that. Hello, hello. No, this is just general shittiness. Like my internet sucks here. Okay. How about no? Oh, fuckity fuck fuck. And we're back. Who baby, who baby. Comcast was definitely broken earlier today. I don't know if it still is. This level sucks. I don't like this at all. Oh! Yeah, I know. Almost like this level fucking sucks, like I just said. Ah! Yeah, Comcast had, I think, like a nationwide issue today, which was, I assume, as Orcast was pointing out, something related to level 3 routing or something like that. I was lucky enough to not be affected, but we were fighting our own Comcast issues. We turned up some links in the Bay Area last night, and they did not go super well, and we had to, I've been, like, trying to work on writing down the right thing. Like, my manager was messaging me all day and was like, hey, like, why is this such a thing? Oh, I need to go up more to the right. I don't need to go up there. Oh, well. See, you told me I was going in the wrong place, and I was like, yeah, I know I'm going in the wrong place because I was doing this other thing, but I didn't realize how wrong it was. Where am I even going? Like, why do I even need to do that level? Like, do I need to do either of these levels? Yeah, so my thought was if I go up here, I can, well, first of all, well, I could have grabbed the extra life, but I think the turtle will reset now. So let's see if my turtle is reset. It is. Oh, fuck, and I killed it again. I'm killing it, baby. Ooh, baby, ooh, baby. Oh, there we go. I was like, I feel like there's an extra life up here somewhere. Alright, so we got that. Let's come back here. Grab this. Ah! Fuck! Oh, god damn it! No! Fuck! Alright. Doing better this time. I'm at least going in the right direction. This is not a 100% run, Brad. I do not believe in 100% runs, and you know it. You know it. There is no such thing as a CPG 100%. Oh, baby, a triple. Ugh, there. The fuck out of here. Oh, shit. That was dumb. Alright, cool. Hello, Mike Rylewolf. Welcome, Sophie Raiders. Welcome, welcome. Welcome to the stream. Welcome, everybody. Boom. Whew. Okay. Let's go back here. We're gonna finish this off this time. Oh, shit. Fuck! Did not finish it off. Alright, whatever. Everybody loves CPG. Yeah, I've got like 7 raids tonight. It's awesome. I got Ace, and I got Mike, or sorry, I got Mike. Corey, Mistledine Online. I don't know what I was thinking there. And I got Sophie, and I got somebody else that I've already forgotten because I'm a terrible human being who can't remember who the fuck raids him because there's so many lovely people and I'm a terrible human being. But yeah, so thank you all for being here. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. Sophie Brecca, I hope your extra life day of streaming or whatever time frame of streaming you were using went well for you. That's true. I should use my stars on the Hammer Brothers. That is an excellent time to use them. Stingray here with the factual information. I'm going to open this third box because I always open the third box. That's just the way I roll. Alright, it's a weird... I don't know what that is. But, pretty weird. No? Okay. I don't know. It's a weird thingy. You remember Mario Brothers, Derek? That's great. I do too. Okay. And not just because I streamed it like 6 months ago, but oh wow, hey baby, never seen this game before. Well, let me tell you, Brad Pritchard, you are in for a treat. Although I'm not gonna finish it tonight, probably. If my last Super Mario Brothers 3 experience is anything to go by, which it might not be, because I'm better at playing games now than I used to be. William Victor, I don't believe in 100%ing things. It is the best game, Brad. The best. Simply the best. Alright. Try some firepower. I want to melt these fireballs. That's what I want. Or melt these ice thingies. Okay, it didn't make sense for me to actually use a fire suit since there's a thing right there that I could have used to turn a mushroom into a fire suit thing. God damn it, dumb. Do not do dumb things. I'm trying to move too fast in this level. I know it's icy, but I gotta move slow. Oh, that's the Hammer Brothers suit. Alright. Alright, so let's see what this gives me. Take this. Yeah, Derek, that's actually how I played it for a long time. I did eventually get a copy of it, but I got a copy of it after we already had a Sega Genesis at like Funko Land, which later became GameStop. But I definitely played it mostly at a friend's house initially, who had it. God damn it. There we go. Well, thank you very much, sibling of LJ. G. Oh, well that was dumb. Glitch. Oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. Oi, oi, oi. Okay. Yeah, so I originally played it on the NES, obviously. There was, of course, a Super Nintendo, you know, game that included all of the Mario games, including both versions of Super Mario Bros. 2, the one for the US and Japan. In the US, of course, it would have been called Lost Levels, because they didn't release it here, because it turned out it was too damn hard. Something I stand by. I think that game is too damn hard. Oh, god damn it. Yeah, so Super Mario All-Stars was the SNES version of the Mario Brothers franchise that kind of took over and attempted to do all the things. All right, let's get out. Let's get through here. I'm gonna do this one. Oh no, we're not gonna fall into a pit because that's just not the kind of people we are. We're the jumping over pits kind of people. All right. See, that's where I could use a fireball to melt those guys, but that would be not in my best interest. Derek, I think that getting old and missing the old games is exactly why this channel exists. So you don't need to feel bad for that here. On Chris Plays Games, we play the old retro games, so you don't have to worry about it. But the reason I play them and the reason this is my favorite game is, of course, because this is the games I played growing up. I played Dino Ricky. I played Super Mario Brothers 1. I played, you know, hours and hours of Super Iron Man Ivan Super Off-Road. I loved Nintendo games. I still love Nintendo games. My favorite nights playing here are definitely the nights where I play Nintendo. It's my favorite system. I've played almost 100 games, I feel like, on it throughout the lifetime of this channel, and it's lovely. Whether it's, you know, games that I'm good at or games that I'm bad at, whether, you know, it's Wario's Woods or Tetris, whether it is Mario Brothers 1 or Mario Brothers 3, whether it is shit. Thanks for subscribing. Whether it is, you know, anything, that's what I do. I've played one Master System game. I played Alex Kidd. You know, I didn't even know the Master System existed until I started streaming. The NES is definitely my favorite NES Nintendo console. My favorite NES console. The NES definitely my favorite Nintendo console. But I love the NES. Yeah, Paperboy. I mean, Frogger, I don't think of so much as being a, fucking hell, seriously? I'm gonna, like, fuck this up. Okay. Let's finish this off. So, like, Frogger and Pac-Man to me are definitely, feel more like, arcade games. Pac-Man and Frogger are definitely arcade games for me. While they did have NES ports, I did not consider those to be the canonical version. Same with Galaga. Like, I love Galaga. It's a great game. It's even a great game on the NES. I mean, it was a like perfectly reasonable port, you know, true to the original. But it will always be an arcade game in my mind. And so that's one area where, you know, a lot of those old original arcade games, I mean, it's the difference between the Atari and the Nintendos. The Nintendo was actually capable of doing faithful renditions of a lot of the kind of arcade games of the 1980s, and that's great. But they're still arcade games to me. I don't think of Tetris as an arcade game. I don't think that the version that was on NES, I am 99% sure did not exist in it. Like, so there's a difference between was ever in an arcade and is an arcade game. And while maybe Tetris was in an arcade at some point, I don't think of it as an arcade game because it was not its primary. Certainly the version on NES was not in the arcade. It was not designed for arcade. It was not, you know, anything else like that. Yeah, no, I do. Well, so so one of the developers of Tetris works for Google now. The guy who didn't get paid, the guy who got tricked out of, you know, signing away the rights to it, works for Google now. Did I eat? Those letters go together, but I don't know how to read them. Did I play Easitbic? I don't know about Easitbic. I don't know what that is. Excitebike! Oh, I'm sorry. I wasn't trying. I feel like an idiot. Yes, I loved Excitebike. Excitebike is another one of those, like, my first ever gaming stream, I was playing Excitebike. I played Excitebike for 45 minutes. Not a single person showed up at any point. I said essentially no words the entire time. I just sat there and silently played Excitebike for 45 minutes, as if that was entertaining streaming. I love Excite Bike, but it's not actually a very entertaining streaming game. I do speak from, you know, both my own experience and just the general knowledge that it's not that exciting. But it's one I've pulled out a couple of times at this point. Yeah, I feel like an idiot. I'm like, oh, yeah, of course I should know that. Yes, absolutely the case, Stingray. Lack of any save system is definitely, I mean, it was stupid. It was an experiment, right? And so this was in the days when god damn it, my sole goal for the channel was to reach 10 concurrents ever. Like that was like 10 concurrents was my only goal for the channel. Once I got that, I was just gonna stop. Obviously, I didn't follow through on that, but I got 10 concurrents on my Metroid stream a little bit after that, and it was going to be the end of my streaming habit. It was a learning experience. I learned what I was going to, and there was no need for any more. Well, yeah, because the Famicom was a disc-based system, right? And so the Famicom had access to do that. There we go. I mean, Gaming Lawyer, it is no shock whatsoever that I absolutely lust for attention at all times. So, I have been the kind of person who gets drunk on attention since I was, you know, 6. You know, there's a video that I should, like, get a copy of for my dad at some point. He put together this kind of compilation for my 21st birthday of a bunch of the different videos and other things like that he took when we were kids. And it was, you know, all those videos of us and everything else like that. And when my new brother came home, you know, newborn baby, I'm 4 and my middle brother is 2. And there's a video of me basically being like, Dad, why are you recording him? Why are you not recording me? Which is like just classic CPG in a nutshell. Alright, I do not like this guy. There we go. Hello, hello. Hello, hello. Alright, there we go. And so, like, yeah, I definitely was just like, pay attention to me, Dad. Which is, like, silly and classic CPG all at the same time. I mean, it's all kids, but it's something I never grew out of. I never changed anything about. I never did anything else like that. So, you know, I hear what you're saying, but I also know that, you know, that's me. All right, World 7. Hey, we're doing pretty good. We're on World 7. It's 11 o'clock. What I am going to do is I am going to take a break, and you guys are going to get a short CPG rant. So CPG rants are where I give you a little bit of my thoughts about the world, etc., etc. So this is the CPG rant from last week. If you have not seen it, you're in for a treat. If you have seen it, I apologize. Sit back and be bored. I'll be back in about 5 minutes, and I'll see you then. I'm the Chris who plays games, and this is your CPG rant of the evening. Just because you can't see someone's disability doesn't mean they don't have one. Whether it's a handicapped parking space or a claim of a need to go to a doctor's appointment, whether it is a health handicap that's described or anything else, just because you can't see what someone is suffering from doesn't mean that they're not suffering from it. As I look across my Twitter feed and see people who have quoted or plastered a car in a handicapped parking spot with signs that says you're not really disabled because they're not visibly in a wheelchair or on crutches or whatever else, I know that these people can be suffering and unable to meet the needs that meet to the tasks that require them to have a handicap placard. I know that people use these parking spaces even when you might look at them and think everything is fine. People who are suffering or experiencing cancer treatment and have gone to their, you know, daily dose of chemotherapy. People who are suffering all kinds of flaws across their life may not look handicapped to you, but it doesn't mean that they're not suffering from some disability or disablement that requires them to have this property. And when someone says, I'm ill, or when someone says these other things that say that they need this additional assistance, you don't get to question them on whether they're deserving. You don't get to question them on whether they have earned your respect or desire or whatever else like that. It doesn't matter whether you're standing in line at the food stamp line or standing in line or having to find a farther parking space because something is taken. It doesn't matter why you think someone doesn't deserve what they have. Now, this applies well beyond just the world of handicapped parking spaces. It applies well beyond the world of food stamps. It depends on almost all means-tested things. When you see someone who loads up their Social Security disability check and gets in their BMW, it doesn't necessarily mean what you think it means. The fact that someone has that BMW that was their only car left from before they lost their job, before they suffered that debilitating accident, before they did these other things that mean that they depend on the government for their support, the fact that they don't have, or they have things that you don't expect them to, is none of your goddamn business. And it doesn't just apply to the things that they have, it also applies to the idea that sometimes people think that just because they don't have money means that they don't deserve nice things. Fuck that! I don't care if it's a kid's Christmas present. I don't care what it is. You don't get to judge someone for their attempts to find a little bit of happiness in a fucking garbage world. You don't get to criticize someone because they don't live exactly the way you think that they should. You don't think that they live poor enough. You don't think that they suffer enough for your ideals of how they should live. Fuck that. Whether it's a handicapped parking space or a disability check, whether it's food stamps or whatever other assistance people need, you don't have the right, you don't have the place, you don't have the control or the other things that are necessary to question someone else's life until you walked 10 miles in their shoes. And then you're going to find out that those shoes have a hole in them because they've been wearing the same goddamn ones for the past 7 years because they can't afford to get a new pair because they're trying to get their kid through school. You're going to find out that in those shoes you've got wet socks because there's a hole on the bottom of the foot and they've been walking to and from work in the snow, building up blisters and everything else like that so they can meet your ideals for what someone who's poor should look like. You're going to find out when they collapse on their way back to the car because the muscle pinch in their nerve in their leg finally gave out and they weren't able to make it back because some other asshole decided they didn't deserve to sit and park in the handicapped parking space. Or they're going to try and scrape the stupid placards that you put off of their windows because you think they don't deserve something and hurt themselves in doing so. You don't have the right to question other people's lives like that. You don't have the right to question other people's disabilities or impairments. You don't have the right to question their lives unless you live in them. So take your high and mighty, hoity-toity fuckery out of here. Just because someone doesn't have a disability, just because someone doesn't look poor, just because someone doesn't look like they deserve whatever it is you think they don't deserve, doesn't mean they don't. If you've ever thought to yourself, I don't think they really deserve that, then fuck you. People live the lives that they can. I don't care if it's a soda in the checkout line. I don't care if it's a candy treat for the kids. I don't care if it's asking for an Xbox on those giving away trees at Christmas. I don't care about any of it. The way that people attempt to find happiness in sometimes miserable lives is up to them. Not you. Live your own life. Do the best you can. Give to people who deserve it. Help those in need. Give freely and openly. And don't fucking worry about everyone else's problems. I'm Lucas who plays games. This is your CPG rant of the evening. Yeah, so that wasn't my best rant ever, but, you know, hopefully it wasn't too terrible. Alright, we're back. We're gonna play some more video games. Excuse me. So this is the, so this is the level where, a lot of speedrunners will like there's a trick here where you can skip to the princess room. So if you're trying to not beat the game, but instead attempting to cheat your way to the end of the game, this is a place where you can do that. So there's actually I think it's a channel called Retro Game Mechanics Explained or something along those lines, which talks a bit about how the, oh, that was stupid of me, which talks a little bit about how the wrong warp trick works. But basically, if you're you know, familiar with computer programming, or even if you're not, basically you're compiling a assembly instruction for the NES to execute based on the position of various turtles. So you're basically trying to compile the NES command, which means, you know, jump to this location in memory by the position of turtles, which is just crazy to me. And so by doing that, you can like go through this kind of weird invisible warp that exists somewhere in this level, and it triggers, you basically go down a long time and go off the screen, and when you do that, it tries to load a tile that is not in a tile place, causes a memory fault, and when it tries to kind of reset, it ends up skipping you directly to the princess. Something along those lines. I like, again, it made sense while I was watching it, and now I can't, you know, explain it for the life of me. But in any case, these are the types of things that, you know, as a person who is a computer programmer and has been involved in this kind of stuff for a long time, it is still shocking to me how much work people are willing to go through and consider and investigate to look into and find these weird exploits. Just so strange to me. Yeah, I don't know, there was a couple parts of it that I just felt like, even at the time I was recording it, I was like, ugh, this is bad, but I should just record it and be done with it. Really, I think I'm at the point where I just have to script out all of my rants. So, like, I've got a rant on Content ID, and how it's actually good for creators, written up like 75% written up, and then as I was writing it, I realized, holy shit, like, I've got so much material I want to cover in here that this isn't like one rant, this is like 3 rants, talking about different aspects of the situation. I mean, overall, I think that this is one of the problems I have, is that, like, you know, my rants have historically been through a couple of different areas. One has been kind of YouTube creator, you know, interesting bits or anything else like that. Hello, Achilles. Welcome, welcome. Yeah. Well, so I'm pretty sure that this could not be done on accident. I'm pretty sure that the wrong warp trip to beat this game, I think, what evolved in like 2004, 2005, as a trick that people could do, and did not exist before that. I think it was basically by, you know, really taking the computer program apart and not via anything else that people were able to do that. So that is, I think, different from a lot of other things. I need to use an item. Why am I keep doing this? So in this particular case, like, I don't agree or disagree. Like, in general, I think that, like, you know, I think that, like, a lot of the Mario 1 exploits, I feel like, have been kind of come across by accident. Things like, you know, the ability to wall jump or other things like that are things that you run into in the game, and figuring out how exactly to do that. Or you can go through, like, in the final 8-1 castle or 8-4 castle, there's a pipe that you can shit. There's a pipe, not that you can shit, a pipe that you can go through, which is slightly earlier in the level. You're supposed to, like, jump over the water and then go through the pipe, and you can instead, like, not jump over the water and go through the pipe, and it works. You have to, like, run past it and then run back. But a lot of the things is basically, like, in the Seth Bling style, where he's literally, like, reprogramming. He has, like, a set of you know, things you can do by placement of particular, you know, shells that basically lets you jailbreak Super Mario World. Which is, like, a crazy thing to say, but that's what he does. And so then he programmed a like if you have a jailbroken Super Mario World, he has a set of bytes that you can push in, which is like, you know, 100 bytes of characters that you can program into your jailbroken Super Mario World, which will allow you to use the Super Scope to shoot enemies. And so like he just like reprograms inputs and does this kind of stuff, and it's crazy to me. Like that's a nutso thing to do. Excuse me. And so that it is certainly the case that a lot of this has evolved from accidentally bumping into things or running into things and then figuring out how to use them or whatever else like that. But in the more modern speedrunning, especially of very old games, some of these crazy exploits are literally like, oh yeah, we just read the code, we have reverse engineered it, and we know that there is this place in the code where if you do this and this and this, it will trigger this behavior. Okay, so this level sucks because I never know where the frick to go. Not there. I mean, yeah, Game Genie and Game Shark are exactly the same thing, right? They are basically, well, no, they're not exactly the same thing. They're a similar idea. So Game Genie and Game Shark basically work by doing a conditional rewrite of all reads or writes to a particular memory register with a different value. And so if you put in like, so from the cartridge, the game is going to try and read, you know, number, you know, whatever, and it's like how many lives do you have initially, right? And so it's going to read that off the cartridge and get a number. And so if you replace that read from that ROM register with a different number, then all of a sudden, like, oh, well, instead of starting with 4 lives or 3 lives or 7 lives or whatever else like that, you're going to start with whatever number you program in there as a hexadecimal byte. So that's what the Game Genie or Game Shark codes were, is basically like every time you read from this address, then this is what happens. And some of them got a little bit more advanced, especially in the, I think later on they added like conditionals so that you could say like, okay, only give this value if this other value is XYZ. So only give 9 if you're on level 7 or whatever. I have used Game Genie on many of my games. Specifically, I've looked through, basically what I do is I try and figure out if a game has unlimited continues or not. If a game does not have unlimited continues, I will try and find a Game Genie code that gives me unlimited continues, because I don't think you know, playing the early levels over again is an interesting part of the game experience. And other people can disagree with me, but that's my general opinion. I don't care. Whoop! I was gonna slide right into those spinies. Let's not do that. Oh shit, nuggets. There we go. Okay, we're good. All's well. And this is basically, I mean, like, you know, the Contra code isn't all that different in practice, right? The Contra code was basically, at least I think the story behind it was, like, this game is really hard to test, so rather than, you know, having this thing in here that, you know, makes it, rather than have this, like, we've got to test the last few levels of this game, but if we die on the last level before we can finish testing, that's really boring. Or that's really annoying, because like we need to play this game all the way through, make sure everything works. And certainly you can do like all kinds of funky things with testing, where like, oh, we'll jump straight to the last level or whatever else like that. But at some point you have to just play the game through and figure out if it works. And so like when you do that, you want to make sure that it works from beginning to end the same way that a player would play it, rather than, you know, something else, which requires you to test it. And they were like, well, this is, Oh, okay. So, but you know, obviously, if you consistently die on the last room because you don't have enough lives left, and it's got limited continues and limited everything else like that gets really annoying to have to do the beginning over and over again to try and test this. Just like playing a really hard Mario Maker level until you can get through it is really hard. You've gotta kind of, be good enough at the game for it and everything else like that. So they added the code so that they could test it more easily. And then once you've tested it, you don't really want to change it. You don't want to, be out there changing the code afterwards, because especially in these old games that had, this, like, you're dealing with tiny amounts of RAM and hand-coded assembly and everything else like that, it would be very easy to make a mistake where you're like, oh, this is a thing that doesn't matter, so when I pull out the code that I've implemented, everything will be just fine because, I checked everything but that. It just doesn't work, because it is not the case that you can really know exactly what is going to change when you pull out those variables. So rather than pull out the code afterwards, you kind of want to leave it in there. It's also possible they just left it in there as an Easter egg so they could actually beat the game in front of their friends. Although honestly, if you're working on the game, probably not even the case anyway. It might just be apocryphal. And there's probably like 17 people in the chat saying that was never what happened. The developer said that they just added it to do X, Y, or Z. So let me check. Ah, you lost all your power-ups when you died. Got it. See, Victor's here, correcting me. Gradius is a fucking bitch of a game. Alright, well, that was ineffective, but... Oh, come on, really? Yeah, so I could not make it past, like, the first, like, room of Gradius. I made it about a minute and a half into the game, and that was it. I think that they did that in, either Hexen or Quake, too, didn't they? Like, if you tried to use the Doom codes... Oh, shit. If you tried to use the Doom codes in either Hexen or Quake or something along those lines, it would be like you tried to type the God code like IDDQD, and it would be like, nope, you're dead. And it's like, oh, okay, fine. Aha. I shouldn't do this. Nope, I really shouldn't have. Okay, very good. Okay, big fishy man. I might want to use my frog suit here. Oh, I only have the one frog suit though, and I probably want to save it for the water world in World 8. Oh! I mean, I think that a lot of the, like, there not being cheat codes anymore comes down to, cheat codes were about not being able to, completely test an environment. I mean, that would be my opinion. I don't know exactly what the thought process was of the developers at the time, but, cheat codes are a way to play something through, and as you've moved, no, actually, let me put this a different way. The thing that cheat codes give you, that you can get in different ways now, is confidence that the game works the same. That the reason that they stayed in the games that were shipped is that you couldn't otherwise have good confidence in the game that you tested being the same thing that you shipped. I think it is much easier now to have confidence that, like, removing a cheat code is not going to break something than it would have been in the older, the NES days. I think there's a lot more kind of code testing and understanding and only changing a config variable and other things like that that you could do, but... I don't like this level. whole world feels like the difficulty ramp here is kind of... I feel like maybe I actually ran into this problem playing this game before as well, where I was like, this difficulty ramp just like gets really hard really quick. How did that not? Oh, my mushroom just fell right into a pit. Shirky mushroom. Yeah, so overall, I think that as Code for Games has gotten more complex, at the same time they have moved to tools that allow for more confidence in, you know, testing various things, and frankly, a little bit more resilience to bugs, because it's not like once you ship it, you'll never be able to change it. And so developers are able to kind of do more kind of iterative development processes via DLC or patch updates. I mean, every game has a, you know, 14 gigabyte first day patch update these days, it feels like. Oh no, that went the wrong goddamn way. I mean, I still would have gotten hit otherwise, but better. I'm gonna go over here and grab whatever this is and then use it. Oh, it's Frog Suit. Cool. I like Frog Suit for this. Feels like that was kind of intentional. That was the intent. Alright, let's be a frog. Now, let's not immediately lose my frog suit, as I often tend to do. Oh, god damn it. So that didn't last long. Oh, I'm very bad at this level. I did not know that Control-Alt-Delete was not originally intended. It's interesting. Alright. Oh god! Come on. Baby, baby, hold together. There we go. Oh no! Fuck! Don't be too near the edges. Bad guys come from the edges. Bad guys that you can't see until too late. Yes! Whew. Yes! Oh. At spin. Oh, like there's a secret up there, but apparently not. I feel like what I have to do here is I have to go through here, get out the way, get out the way. Oh, nope, okay, I can't go in that way. So that was the wrong answer. But what I have to do is I have to come back in here and get fire flower or a leaf, because I need to fly up in the next room. Oh, nope, okay. So my intuition is entirely wrong. Alright, well, let's see what we can figure out then. I'm gonna spend another minute first. Okay, so that is a fire flower. Oops. I'm going to, before I do anything else... Oh, shit. I feel like something... Well, it can't be something there. This isn't gonna work well. Fuck! Okay, so down that pipe was the right answer, not into the side. Alright, so let's go back. Come up here. Only 35 seconds left. Oh, fuck. No way do I get this. Oh, fuck. This close. This fucking close. Anyway, yeah, so I think cheat codes are a relic of a bygone era. They will exist these days. I mean, the real question is how many cheat codes were already a relic of a bygone era in the time when they were current, right? Like, did the Konami code get included because the developers, you know, like I said, like the developers thought that it was the right thing to do in their testing process, or did it include it because they you know, like someone else pointed out, that they wanted to, you know, give people the ability to beat the game who couldn't otherwise. They wanted to have secrets. They wanted to have, you know, kind of this special sauce that was different. I don't know. I don't, it would be interesting to know, you know, what was the methodology or the decision-making process behind, you know, including these cheat codes in the game that was shipped. Not building them, because I think that makes sense, but why did they not go away before it went to consumers? You know, who made that decision, and what was the intent behind it? The Konami code in particular is you know, something that is clearly has reached beyond just the cases where it was necessary. You know, because they would add variations on it and they would do all these other things. So it was clear that in many cases they were adding this targeted at the consumers they were selling the games to. And I don't know how often that was true, how often that was, you know, the only reason or the primary reason. You know, did they use them in development and testing, or is that just a kind of, like I said, an apocryphal story type of thing that you make up? Sloth Slayer, I think that, you know, I know that there's a lot of, like, I do know that input lag is higher on TVs, but it's not the case that, like, you can't predict what is happening in these things. And so, you know, someone else that I was talking to mentioned that, you know, well, there's no way to beat Battletoads on a modern TV because modern TVs have input latency. And I'm not saying they don't. I realize that they do, because otherwise Duck Hunt would work on them. But rather, I think that sometimes it's like, for things that are non-technical. So Duck Hunt is not like a solvable thing. because in the case of Duck Hunt, you're literally talking about the you know, hardware itself is trying to make a, like, you know, detection of a flash of light. But if you're not actually dependent on the hardware, then it should not be the case. God damn it. You can predict what's going to happen next. So I'm playing this on an LCD screen on a computer, and I don't think that the frame refresh time on a computer is that much slower than a TV. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Maybe it is. But it's not. I wouldn't think it's that much slower than on a TV. But I'm able to play it just fine. And that's not to say that I think that it's any different. It's just that you predict what's going to happen next, right? Well, I think the kind of story is, or the you know, kind of the myth, and maybe I'm being unfair, but the myth is you can't play something on an LCD TV because the display time is too long. Gotcha. Okay, so monitors are better than TVs. Okay, fair enough. I haven't actually tried to play this game on a modern TV, so I don't know, but I do kind of it does make me kind of wonder, like, how much of that is something else. People making excuses, basically. That's my thought. Yeah. There we go. And that's not to say, yeah, like I said, it's not to say that it doesn't make it more difficult. I think it certainly does. I think that there is absolutely, like, the increased latency induced by, you know, significant digital processing, especially on, like, shitty TVs, is definitely going to have an impact on how long things take and everything else like that. But yeah, so older rhythm games. I think the other thing is, like I said, like, Duck Hunt won't work. It just does not work. There's just no way, because, like, it's a hardware, you know, the hardware is processing and really needs kind of frame level correctness in order to work at all. So that at least tells me, because I've always heard this story of, like, well, I mean, not story, but, like, this fact that, you know, you can't play Duck Hunt on an LCD, and I never really understood why. Like, I knew vaguely how light guns worked, but I didn't realize, like, what was causing that, and the delays in how long a particular frame gets to, like, takes to get processed definitely gets in the way of that. I mean, I wonder how, like, can we fix that? Like, is that something that LCD TVs will eventually be good at? Or is that just like a forever and ever amen, we're done? Like, we can never have the perfection of a CRT monitor for frame refresh time again. Get out of here. It's a super short star, I feel like. I don't know if they have different lengths. It's probably just my imagination, but... Oh, god damn it. So Smash Brothers is another one of those, Smash Brothers is one of those games that, I mean, it's sort of in the same vein, although different, to, like StarCraft, right? Like, StarCraft has this massive, you know, expectation around how at the pro levels you need to be performing at this level that is very, very high. So you're talking about, you know, 400 actions per minute or other things like that when you're talking about pro StarCraft players, and at those levels it certainly makes a difference how quick you're able to see things. And I don't know if like frame refresh makes a particular difference for StarCraft, but when you're doing, you know, 10 things a second, being able to see them, I definitely think matters. So, but yeah, I mean, it is certainly the case that pro level, you know, Melee or Super Smash Brothers players, I don't know, Melee, Brawl, whatever, whatever ones people actually play have requirements that are, you know, frankly kind of crazy. It also doesn't help, of course, Yugi, when I, like, completely screw up my running pattern. Oh! Come on, give me... Yes! Oh, shit. Two, three, four. Oh, seriously? Take care, Stingray. Have a great night. Okay, so it seems like what you're all saying is that things that I can do perfectly fine on my fancy $300 monitor are not the same things that I could do fine on my non-fancy $300 TV. I buy that. I hadn't really thought about it before, but I believe that. I certainly know that monitors are optimized for monitoring and not for being like cheapo consumer electronics, so I'm not surprised by it. I just hadn't really thought about it before. Okie dokie. All's well. No problems here. 3, 4, and 1, 2, fuck. Bum 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 bum. Oh, fuck. Yeah, see, like that. That was a screw-up. And it's gonna cost me. I'm not gonna get nearly as far. But this time, I'm smart and have fire flowers. I mean, not smart. I'm using up items that I'm never gonna be able to recover because I'm just not good enough at this game. But we're gonna pretend that that's being smart, as opposed to being bad at the game. I mean, it's better to use them than to not use them. It doesn't make any difference how many items you have at the end of the game. You either finish the game or you don't finish the game. But... So do OLEDs suffer? I didn't realize that OLEDs suffered from burn-in problems. I remember when OLEDs... So OLEDs only became, like, the default for smartphone screens within the past, like, 8 years, right? I feel like that's something that happened while I was working at Nokia. They're certainly expensive. Are there OLED, like, monitors, displays that exist yet? Is that a thing? Alright, so I've got a confusion. Oh, okay. I was like, which way do I go? I completely missed that there was... I was like, how do I get down to that bottom island? Completely missing the fact that there's a goddamn bridge there, but whatever. Okay, so I should not use anything more than a mushroom on this level to start with. Okay, so super expensive still, but they do exist. I mean, super expensive. I guess good monitor, like a good 4K monitor also costs like a couple grand still, I think. No, a great 4K monitor still costs a couple grand, I feel like. Oh! Oh, damn it. I was hoping that was going to be the end of the level, and I was just going to skip past all of it. Did not work out. Yeah, I mean, I am not a super huge monitor snob, so I'm using like these Dell U25H15, U2515H or something like that. It's a pretty solid monitor, but I picked them up. They're 2K monitors. I picked them up for about $250 or $300 each, I feel like, and I've been pretty happy with them. They've given me what I've wanted and not given me any real problems. They've got like a weird sort of capacitive sort of touch button on the front, which I don't like, but as far as the quality, they're really good, and they gave me a decent price. So I do know that, like, you know, if I talk to Strobe, who works on the like HDR product for YouTube and works on the player team and other things like that, he would explain to me why I should buy a $2,000 monitor or other things like that. But for me, this works out pretty well. I feel like this entire level is just a goddamn maze. I mean, this entire level is a goddamn maze. I don't just feel like it. It is. I just don't know exactly what to do about it. And I can't... There we go. Get through here, which I needed to. Strobe! Stephen Robertson. He was one of the people when I did a stream in San Bruno at one point. He brought the whiskey, so I called him Whiskey Man at one point. But he helped explain HDR for us during the stream I did with All Mighty and Funny Man, and is who I went to before buying my monitor. And he explained to me why this would never be a monitor he would buy, but given that I'm a normal human being and not, you know, a monitor snob, it would probably work just fine for me. Okay. I did not go anywhere. This is a problem. Okay, got nothing. Yeah, I don't even know how to tell if my monitor has good color reproduction. I'm pretty happy with it. Oh yeah, so that was one of the things he showed me actually, is that he had a he had like a digital mastering display that was targeted at like mastering HD content. So it's a 10-bit display and it costs like $20,000 and blah blah blah. But it was it's targeted at people who are doing like color matching and color grading as a profession. And he this monitor was, I was basically said, okay, like, convince me that HDR is a thing that matters. Okay, I have to get into this thing. How do I get into that thing? I'm gonna go down and around here. And so he took me into his like HDR mastering closet and kind of showed me things in there. And so he had like these demo videos, and I just remember being like hugely impressed at you know how bright everything could feel, and it made me understand kind of the thing he's going for as far as driving forward HDR in the industry and why it can offer a better overall visual experience. I am dubious that it's going to be, you know, a thing that's going to work out in the way that people want it to on YouTube or wherever else like that, but you know, in the space of YouTube trying to for once actually drive forward the spec rather than just following everybody else, I think it's great that we're kind of involved in helping be involved in setting the standard there. I don't know what PVM is. Alright, there we go. Oh. Oh no! Fuck! Yeah, certainly developing just for So what was the CRT monitors had, well, I guess they didn't have, like, did CRT monitors have a concept that was the same as refresh rate? Like, they had a scanning electron beam that I know went really fast, right? So they didn't have like an FPS in really the same way, or maybe they did. I don't know how that would work. See, this is one of the things that, like, having not really paid attention to hardware ever, there's a lot of these things that I'm like, I don't know the standards for these things. Like, I don't know what I'm missing or what I could have had or anything else like that, because I just never, oh, fuck, had these problems. Ah, gotcha. Oh, okay. Nice save. Good job, me. Not a good save. Bad job, me. Whew. App. Get out of there. Yeah, so I definitely know that the Smash community in San Bruno is kind of crazy. So as I was mentioning, one of the people who works on YouTube Gaming, whose name is enshrined as an emoji in the form of :gar, is Ivan, who is a pretty big Smash player. Also, the designer for the YouTube Gaming app is a pretty big Smash player. Her name is Lil, or Milk Tea, and she helps run kind of like a, I think like a girls gaming team. Nope. That was bad. Oh, fucking hell! Can't believe I should have gotten one of those. Okay. Can you fuck? Oh, fuck! Why did I think that's... yeah. But yeah, so they are aggressive Smash players, and are deeply involved in all of the crazy things that Smash players do. And I have used up like all of my good items, so that's great. Well, at least I got something. That's nice. Oh no! The king is a piranha plant! The king has been transformed. I didn't even pay attention to what the kings were transforming into before this, but yeah, it's definitely the case that I came by after kind of going and getting dinner at the San Bruno office at one point, and there's like 4 people, you know, all kind of sitting there playing. Like, there's these gigantic TVs all around the YouTube office, and there's these guys just sitting there playing Smash on like a little CRT, because that's what they had. That's what they play on. That's how they do it. And I was like, all right, you're all weird, whatever. Expecting that to be fire, and it was not. Fuck. Ah, almost had it. I don't know if these fan things hurt you. One interesting thing I noticed while Stingray was playing this is those clouds are actually on the sprite layer. So you'll see they actually will draw in front of the spinny things sometimes when they cross over them. I don't really understand why they would do that. That seems like a weird choice to me. But it is a thing that apparently they did. There we go. On the right-hand side there, Mike? Oh god! Damn it. Oh, fuck! I just don't understand, like, I don't understand enough about what the choices of background versus sprite layer, like the background, is background only a single color? Was that like a requirement of the NES stuff? Like there wasn't a way to do anything on the background other than a single color? That doesn't seem right because, like, how are all clouds on the sprite layer? I don't know. This is one of those things where I keep watching all of these things about like how the NES works, and I watch them and I'm like, oh, now I get it, and then I immediately forget all of the details. So I'm like, oh, I learned how this works. It works like, yeah, I don't know. I have no clue. Okay, so there was fire on that thing. It just didn't show up last time. That's another thing, is that sometimes you'll get these, you know, elements that seem like they're, you know, is that by design or not? I can't tell. Well, yeah, so like Mario is like 4 sprites, because sprites are only like 8 by 8 or 16 by 16 or something like that. And so, you know, when you see as much detail as you do on Mario, it's because they've got multiple sprite blocks that form up to that. And then they'll use this, like for Mario 1, they used the same face sprite, but then they would paint another, like the clothing layer was a separate sprite on top of him, so that way they didn't have to duplicate the face sprite data, and they could just change his clothing depending on which character he was. And the clothing wasn't even actually different clothing or different sprites, it was the same sprite but with different palettes. So your face sprite would be one thing, or Mega Man and Mega Man's helmet, like the helmet would be one layer in the sprite layer on top of the face, or other things like that. So definitely a lot of crazy things that they did in order to make this stuff work at all. Like NES programmers are freaking nuts. And there's a couple of people who are at my office who still do a little bit of like NES hacking, and they're also nuts. So, well, thanks, LJ. I think. I assume that was talking to me. I don't know why I'm nice, but I try. Shit! I like knew that was coming too. I don't know why my brain just kind of farted there for a second. Okay. Let's see what we can do here. Which is kind of like, was Japan not a PAL country? Like, it's weird that it's natively NTS. Oh, but the NES was not the same machine as in Japan. Like, so the FDS, the Famicom system, was probably not natively NTSC, but all the code would be the same. I don't know. They're not, like, usually, I don't know. Japan's NTSC. Okay, well, then that answers that question. Never mind. You people and your factual information about things that I know nothing about. All right, cool. That jump killed me. Kills me. Take care, Van Helsing. Have a great night. I appreciate you hanging out. I'm glad you were able to get here. I'm glad that the fiber cuts to your internet via backhoe were not so problematic you couldn't make it. Oh god. Whew. Oh. Yes. I like Victor and Leif clearly are on the same page. Alright. That's World 7 done. Now we just got World 8 to go. Wow, that guy's weird looking. Like, he's got like his face is like a column. I don't know. It's weird. Uno, dos, cuatro, hit it. Oh! Kidnap the princess. So here's my question. Where was the princess that she could be kidnapped? Like, what exactly was she out there doing that Bowser was just like, oh yeah, like, I'm gonna kidnap her? Was she in a castle? Was she in the 7th castle? Like, which king is she the princess of? I don't understand these things. So the amount that, like, the size of the explosions from the bombs in this game feels crazy. It feels very large. So where is the Mushroom Kingdom? Is that, like, are none of these levels the Mushroom Kingdom, or is there a was that World 1? Oh shit. Because she was, like, writing me letters the whole time. I never actually saw her in person, so clearly World 1 wasn't the Mushroom Kingdom. Or is the Mushroom Kingdom the whole place? There's so many questions I have, and I'm sure that they're all very, you know, for someone infused with the, like, with the lore of Super Mario Brothers, they're like, how can you not know this? But to me, it's all just, like, so confusing. There's actually I think it was Rocket Jump did like a first-person shooter, like 3D render of this that was really freaking cool. So they did the whole thing, and they took like a really expert player playing through it, and then they animated the whole beginning, the whole thing. So they took like a playthrough, and you could see in the upper left they had like the rendering of just like a simple 2D kind of sprite version of the level and what was actually going on, and then had done a full, like, you know, 3D rendered scene from it. There we go. Oh fuck, seriously? Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and burn my frog suit on this. See how it goes. Like, I don't think I have any other use for this frog suit, so this is why I set it aside and saved it for now. Oh, fuck. Okay, well, my frog suit proved pointless. This is the part where my frog suit would have been actually useful. Just in case of that water. Oh, that's right. On this level, apparently you can actually swim beneath the boat. And so if you go underneath the boat and you just like swim up a lot, you can stay above the point where you drown. So that was Stingray's approach to this, was just to kind of stay on the bottom and do that. This is one of those times when I learned that Stingray has a lot more Super Mario Brothers 3 knowledge than I do, because he knows all these tricks. Where I'm just like, I don't know, I play the game, shit happens, I do it. Well, so is HDMI like an alternative? HDMI is a cable, and also like a video standard? Like, is HDMI a replacement for NTSC? When I start asking too many stupid questions, you can be like, just Wikipedia it. I just can't Wikipedia it while I'm streaming, so fuck! Boom, boom. So is NTSC a color standard? See, these are things I don't know. Fuck. Oh, that's nice. I did not expect that to be there, but I'll take it. Whoa! Hi, don't care about you. Hop on by here and grab myself a leaf. Great. Because I also, like, I know, like, MT2S is, like, an MPEG-2 based broadcast standard. thing. Sort of, maybe. I say words and maybe it's true. Okay, here we go. All's well, no problem. Grab that, thanks, appreciate it. Well, that was useless, other than it kept me alive. Staying alive, staying alive. Ah, 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 staying alive. Alright, let's airship it up. Airship it up. This one moves fast. So one thing I'm actually very curious about is that there's all these Mario Maker levels. I wonder how many people have like copied something as close as possible to like a Super Mario Brothers 3. So World 9, I think, is the warp world. So if you get a warp whistle, there's a world that you can warp to, which is just the which is just like you can warp there and pick between other worlds to go to. And internally to the game, I believe that's World 9. It's not, there's no enemies or playable things there, and it's not part of the game. If you don't grab a warp whistle, you never have to go there. I mean, even if you grab a warp whistle, I guess you never have to go there, but... Oh no! Fuck! And so I wonder how many of these kind of, you know, reproduced levels... I'm just gonna fucking P-wing this shit. I got plenty of P-wings. So my guess is they'll keep the Mario Maker servers running for at least a couple of years. At some point they'll die. I mean, this is a sad side effect of the movement towards this whole kind of cloud whatever. Is that, you know, you're dependent on a company deciding to support a chunk of content in order to have it be to have it continue to run. So when you're dependent on someone else's servers, when those servers die, a lot of that content will just go away forever, and that's really sad. But it is the sad reality in which we live, and so that will probably happen to Super Mario Maker levels at some point. They'll decide to shut the servers down. Huh. Alright. So this is what I was talking about earlier. We can actually just go ahead and cloud past these levels. This did not work as I thought it would. Let's see. So that's the locked door. I think this is what takes me to the end castle. Aha! I did it! Alright, cool. Tankety tank tank. Yeah, so when I see it's like an MPEG-2 stream, this is one of the things where I look at it and I'm like, well, can we even do... I mean, I guess obviously an MPEG-2 stream is not what... is I think not what like games are putting out. Games are putting out something over HDMI or whatever, but when I see like TV is MPEG-2S, you know, being transmitted over the wire, like it takes some time to process that. Like you have to have a frame before you can start drawing the frame. And I don't know. I when we talk about response time and other things like that, I don't know how we get things that are as good as CRTs. You know, yeah, analog TV sucks, but there are some aspects of it that you don't get in the same way. Yep. Yeah, I mean, this is the reason why there are, oh god, speedruns of this game are so, you know, can be so quick, is that in the first world, you can you know, get a lot of what you need. So you can do that, skip directly to warp to World 7, do the wrong warp trick, and end up at the princess's castle, or you can warp to the warped world and then zoom from that to wherever. So. Almost let myself get zapped there for absolutely no reason. Go ahead, shoot your fireballs at me. Oh wait, you can't shoot them at me because you're just a brick wall. Alright. One thing I did learn the last time I played this, if you go and jump in the pit now, the game does end. Like, not game does end, you lose. You can still die even after the music played and everything else like that. It does not prevent you from doing this stupid thing and killing yourself. We did it. Yay, we won! Okay, so first world's called Grassland. Fine. I got that. Second world is Desert Hill. So where is the Mushroom Kingdom? Like, did I not have to save the king in the Mushroom Kingdom? Is there no king in the Mushroom Kingdom? If there's no king, why is she only princess and not queen? I don't even know. There's so many things I don't know. Big Island, okay. I feel like, so one thing about, like, I actually, for a homework assignment in, like, probably 4th or 5th grade, no, it must have been older than that, 8th or 9th grade, something like that, I basically wrote, Total Annihilation fanfic. So I wrote, you know, I used the kind of story behind that. Okay, Pipe Maze, at least it is considered a maze, and so the fact that all the levels feel like mazes is not unreasonable. Castle of Koopa is World 8. There we go. Hello, Lumi Games. Hello, hello. Yeah, so we'll quickly, you can watch a, speed run. So the former world record, well, it's current world record. World record. Here we go. Alright, so we're gonna pause this. So I'm just gonna show you, since we talked about it a bunch, I wanted to show you the way that people do speedruns of this game. Where's my button here? There we go. Nope. Browser is the wrong size. What's going on here? All right. Nope, that's still not right. Just a second. Da-da-da, da-da-da. Yeah, I'm not sure exactly how I screwed this up, so I'll have to work that out later. But there we go. Oh, and the top needs to come down too. No. All right, cool. But yeah, so this is the way the speedrun works. So you start off the game, and as someone mentioned, there's 2 warp whistles in the first world, right? So you're going to go through. You're going to, but I think you do something a little bit weird. I'm not entirely sure. So he's actually labeled these things all with like grass, sand, water, big sky, ice, pipe, dark. I don't know what all those mean. But oh, this is that's weird. Yeah, so those are timers on the left are for a warpless run. And this doesn't look like he's doing a warpless run because this video is only 4 minutes long. So we'll see. And so, yeah, so I just Googled, like, you know, Super Mario Brothers world record. I don't even know if this is true. I think the trick will be the question of whether he grabs the warp whistle here. I don't think he would go here if he didn't, right? Yeah, so this is the weird trick. I don't understand exactly what you do there, but you have to go behind that block. Then you go behind here, and you get into a place that has a map, or the warp whistle, when you go behind the black screen there. Now he's going to go back to the castle. He's going to go ahead and grab the warp whistle from the top here. So this is one that I actually knew where it was as a kid. I knew the white block thing was there, but so is the normal process you just stand there and then you go off of it? I don't know exactly. I like that he's got like a completely wrong, or timer or set of splits for a totally different thing. So this is world 9 you're talking about. So the warp zone is world 9. But he is not going to warp directly from there. He's going to warp to world 2 and then warp back because he wants to go to world 7 because this is where the wrong warp trick is. So this is the trick that he's going to try and do, and that I couldn't describe it very well. So we'll see what he's actually saying, if anything. So basically, he's got to take these 3 shells, and he's got to set them up in a specific set of positions to kind of jump to this end game. So he kicked off that first shell, which I think he didn't need. He's going to send that one at that position. So that one is vertically aligned with a block over on the left. He's got one in the right there. So now he's got 2 shells that are in position, and he's got a third one he's going to have to set up. And once he's done that, then he can take this weird broken warp, and it's going to go all the way down. And because those 3 shells are in these vertical positions, and because of where their vertical or horizontal positions are set in RAM, it's going to cause a glitch here once he jumps and taps a music block.
Fuck that one for me.
And so he's going to come down here, and assuming he's done everything right, he taps the music block, and he gets to the end of the game. So this is...
Yo, I had to go back over to the plant and tail swipe it because the shell didn't hit it. Seriously? Yeah.
And so, yeah, so what is... If we go look at speedrun.com. Speedrun, records, Super Mario Bros. 3. Look at the leaderboard here. Any percent. Boom. Yeah, so I guess this is no longer the world record. In fact, it doesn't even seem like that one ever made it on the leaderboard. Probably because he was doing it in some way that didn't count for some reason. But you can see here that like even the top one's only like 4 seconds or 6 seconds faster than that. Oh, you can't see that, but it is only 6 seconds faster than that. So the world record is 304. The next is 307, next is 309, and next is 313. So that 310 would have fallen kind of right in here. So it probably doesn't count for some reason. But anyway, so yeah, that's the wrong warp trick is combining overwriting specific positions in RAM with different values that when exploiting a broken block to warp to a part of the map that shouldn't be there and then touching a block triggers the game to basically jump to the princess room. Anyway, do we still have a few people watching? There's still a few people watching here, even though no one's talking. So, if you are willing, let's get a raid going. I'm going to see if there's anybody else out here playing something maybe retro we can check out or anything else like that. Again, for those of you who are new, I'm Lucas who plays games. Welcome. Thank you. I hope you all had a fun time. I'm going to finish up this night, and we're going to do a raid on someone playing something wonderful. I'm not going to watch any Hearthstone or World of Warcraft or anything else like that. Let's see if we got anybody playing some retro games. Anybody playing some retro games? We got somebody playing Tetris? Someone's game tagged with Tetris at least? If that's anything. Oops. Nope, that is PUBG. Not sure why that's tagged with Tetris, but there's someone playing Super Mario Brothers 3. There we go. This guy's doing an Extra Life Super Mario Marathon. So we're going to hop over in here and say hello and do a CPG raid. This guy may ban us all, so if that happens, I apologize, but will happen here. So Septipus CP or raid blah #CPG raid. So hop along, follow this link. We'll check out this guy who's playing Super Mario Brothers 3 in the name of Extra Life, and yeah, and hang out for a little while. Thank you all for being here. Have a lovely night. I will see you on Friday. We'll be playing Cuphead and finishing up Mirror's Edge Catalyst. That's it. Have a great night. Bye bye.